AFL Premiership Season 2003, brought to you by Carlton, brewed since 1864, and our telecast sponsors Carlton Draft, draft beer at its best. Ford, no boundaries. Discount City Carpet Superstores. Truscott Hi-Fi, best advice, low price. Booze Brothers. Sky City Adelaide, the place to see footy on the big screen. RAA Insurance. And Telstra.
It is the biggest night in South Australian football. Showdown 13 between Port Adelaide and the Adelaide Crows. Two sides with plenty of history and plenty of rivalry. Let's be honest, they don't like each other too much, these two teams. And we are in for a cracking game tonight. Port Adelaide with a superb record in the showdowns. The Adelaide Crows desperate to turn that around this evening. It is Showdown 13. Welcome to Amy Stadium. It is a full house. It's been a sellout here all week as the Port Adelaide side make their way out onto the ground. They are in 7th position with 2 wins and 2 losses in 2003. They've won their last 2 games. They're just starting to run into some red-hot form. And who better for them to fire up against tonight than the Adelaide Crows. Welcome to Amy Stadium. This one promises to be an absolute beauty. Really looking forward to it as I welcome 2 South Australian football legends, football royalty here in Adelaide. I speak of Chris McDermott and Craig Bradley. Good evening, gentlemen. Craig, firstly to you. An ex-South Australian back here for your first showdown.
Yeah, fantastic. It's my first one, and just driving into the ground tonight. Plenty of people out there, packed house, and a terrific atmosphere.
Chris, we spoke of Adelaide's pretty ordinary records in the showdown. We take a look at the numbers. The head-to-heads are 8-4, something the Adelaide Crows are pretty keen to turn around tonight.
Numbers not good, Jason. There's a lot of tension simmering underneath the build-up to this game. The Bickley-Wakeland incident hasn't gone away. Expected to be one of the toughest games we've seen here in South Australia for a long time.
Port Adelaide have a superb record, as we mentioned. They've won their last 5 showdowns. Interestingly enough, the last 3 by 8 points, showing there isn't a lot between these two sides. Adelaide's last showdown win right back in round 7, 2000. And the Crows in that time, Chris, have had some success, but nothing really counts unless you win the showdown.
Certainly doesn't. I mean, Port Adelaide a little bit undermanned. No Primus, no Franco. Franco's won 3 West End slowdown medals for the best player in the showdown. So they're a little undermanned, and the Crows full of confidence. Really looking forward to this clash.
Craig, the atmosphere here at Amy Stadium, in fact, Adelaide is a buzz all week and has been for you, returning home to your hometown. A little bit like those great State of Origin clashes of the mid-80s, big packed house, hanging from the rafters.
Very much like the old State of Origin. A lot of barbecues out there and just people kicking the footy around. But as I said, full house tonight and should be a fantastic contest.
Let's take a look at the Adelaide Crows lineup, Chris. 2 changes. In come Marty Matner and Ian Perry for Ben Marsh and Brent Riley.
Yeah, expect Matner to get a job maybe on one of the Burgoyne boys. Perry comes in to give him some more firepower up in the forward line.
Awesome midfield, Craig. As we know, the Adelaide Crows have got a rotation of midfielders as good as any in the competition, ranked #1 for clearances and inside 50s last season, and the boys are at it again this year.
Absolutely. I mean, McLeod, he's a Rolls Royce, and there's a lot of decorated, a lot of premierships in that Adelaide midfield with Goodwin, Rashudio, etc. So if they get on a roll, look out for Adelaide.
Big role tonight for Tyson Stenglein as well against that man. Will he stand Nick Stevens, Chris?
Got to take him for sure. Stevens been in fantastic form. So is Stenglein, though. The problem for Port Adelaide, if Stevens does get shut down, who can step up?
That's the difference, isn't it? We took a look at the Adelaide numbers. It was such a balanced midfield. For Port Adelaide, Nick Stevens has been the man getting it done in just about all categories, Craig.
He's been on a roll this year, but look, I fully expect Nick Stevens to go and pick someone up at the start of the game. The power know that Stenglein will probably go to him, so Nick Stevens, look for him to go and take McLeod or someone like that.
The Adelaide Crows about to come out onto the ground. It is an Adelaide home game tonight, Chris, so you can expect the crowd probably 70-30, 80-20 even in favour of the Adelaide Crows.
Certainly heavily favoured in favour of Adelaide Crows, but the Port Adelaide people, they can make some noise when they want to, so don't underestimate them.
Here are the Adelaide Crows. They're sitting in 2nd position, 3 wins and 1 loss. They beat the Freo by 55 points in the opening round, dropped 1 to St Kilda, but then the last 2 weeks they've beaten Sydney and the West Coast Eagles. And they are out there to resurrect their showdown record this evening, led by their skipper, Mark Rashudo. They are a wonderful side, as we've mentioned. Plenty of talent right across the ground. There's Mark Bickley. Bit of talk during the week, Chris, about Mark.
A lot of talk. Expect him. I reckon he might even line up inside 50, maybe put Port Adelaide on the back foot, put him inside 50. If he's going to be a target and there's going to be some free kicks played against him, then maybe he can have a shot at goal with a couple of them.
Craig, that man, Mark Rasciuto, such a fantastic, inspirational leader.
He is a fantastic leader. And look, the hard part about trying to match up on Mark Rasciuto is when he goes forward, he's as strong as anyone down there, and he's a key forward when he goes up there, so very hard to man up on.
They have some strike power. Wayne Carey playing in his first showdown, Chris, just adds a little bit more spice. Ronnie Burns also playing in his.
Yeah, certainly. Look, Carey's form, not too bad. I mean, he's such an imposing figure. Paxman probably gets him, and he doesn't need to touch the football too many times to make an impact. He'll be a very important player as the game progresses, that's for sure.
Interesting night for Wayne Carey, isn't it, Craig? He's done just about everything there is to do in football. This is one moment he hasn't yet savoured.
And he'll be loving it. Look, a year out of the game, he will be absolutely loving it out there at the moment, and I've got no doubt Adelaide will try and give him plenty of room, one-out situation, and with this crowd the way it is, we can just see vintage Carey.
One man who's looking to see some vintage Carey tonight is Adelaide coach Gary Ayres, and here he is with Troy Gray.
Gary, the boys are pumped as they ran out. The crowd absolutely electric. How does Gary Ayres feel right now?
Yeah, I feel pretty good, Troy. Obviously, you want to think that 9/10 of your preparation's been done up to this point, and now it's up to the guys to hopefully do the job.
It's an intense rivalry. Any special words to say to the lads before they run out tonight?
Oh, no, just about staying in control of your emotions and just making good decisions, because there's going to be a lot of pressure out there, and if you can think clearly and hopefully make the right decisions, we'll get some advantage out of that.
There's so many rivals in football. We hear all about the Collingwood-Carlton clashes, but this is huge. This must be as big as they come.
Yeah, it probably is over a short period of time. You look at the Collingwood and the Carltons and the Essendons and the Hawthorns over the years, but we've only been going a short time, as have Port, and I think it's right up there.
They're saying, the bookies, that is, that you're red-hot favourites. Can you justify that?
Oh, well, I don't know whether we're red-hot favourites. You know, they've obviously had the edge over us the last probably 3 years, but even though the games have been close, but again, that's all in the past, so now we've got to look forward to, hopefully, rewriting a bit of history.
Well, Port have got up on the last 5 occasions. It's going to be a huge clash. All the best.
Thanks, Troy.
Speaking of Port Adelaide, let's take a look at their lineup, Chris. 3 changes for them, and there's some big ones. Warren Treadray comes into that forward line. Michael Wilson back for his first game since round 11 2001 after 2 knee reconstructions. And Guerra, a late change for Montgomery.
Very important changes. Treadray, such a key player inside 50. Wilson's the one I love. He's a real motivator at Port Adelaide. Great to see him back after 2 years. He'll play an important role, maybe not at the start, but certainly as the game progresses.
Well, we are almost set to go here for Showdown 13. It's the Adelaide Crows and Port Adelaide. We've had some pre-match fireworks. There's some smoke around the ground. It is a full house.
Big Brother starts 7 o'clock Sunday. You'll see the new house for the very first time. 7 o'clock Sunday. You'll meet the new housemates. 7 o'clock Sunday. You'll find out how seriously different Big Brother is going to be. All will be revealed when the television event of the year starts Sunday and continues every night in a big week that's full of surprises. Are you ready? Big Brother starts 7 o'clock Sunday on Channel 10.
Go! Kick the winning goal. Get your Foxtel from Telstra. Get it for less. Get it now. Call Telstra on 1-800-052-052 to find out how.
Discount City Carpets, your one-stop flooring shop, guarantees Adelaide's lowest prices on its massive range of carpets, timber flooring, rugs and vinyls. No matter what price you get elsewhere, Discount City Carpets will beat it, guaranteed. You must see the latest release of ceramic tiles, the Builder's Choice, a stunning range of 14 styles of floor tiles in today's subtle colours. The Builder's Choice range at Builder's prices.
Discount City Carpets.
Superstores and Super Warehouse, guaranteeing the lowest prices.
He didn't. He did not. Oh no, that's awful. Where? Ouch. All over you like a rash, aren't they? Until you phone and tell him you've had a car accident, right? Insurance. Who can you trust?
Exactly.
What?
Always look on the bright side of life.
Buy
fire off your taste buds with the McDonald's Raging Cajun Burger. A full breast chicken fillet, crisp lettuce, and a fiery Cajun sauce on a tomato polenta roll. All for a flaming good $3.95. Only at McDonald's.
Amy Stadium is rocking tonight. It is a sellout, a capacity crowd here. And it's been a wonderful build-up to what we hope is going to be a wonderful game. As I welcome my co-caller this evening. Good evening and welcome to Mark Aston. A pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Jason. To you and Chris and Craig and everyone watching. This is the moment because there's been an enormous build-up to this game. As you said, a capacity crowd, massive crowd, probably 80-20. Crows supporters, Andrew McLeod, such a wonderful player, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play, and of course all those champs for Port Adelaide as well.
Two sides just coming together to line up to observe a minute's silence in respect of Anzac Day and the Anzac Day weekend. Port Adelaide and Adelaide, there is no bigger game in this town, and this one promises to be an absolute ripper. There's Mark Bickley, centre of controversy the last time these two sides met. So many subplots and sidelines to watch in this game. It promises to be a beauty as we line up the observance of the minute silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please be upstanding as we show our respects for the Anzacs in a minute's silence. Please remain outstanding for the national anthem of Australia, sung by Tori Horgan.
Well, it is one of the most spectacular moments in sport when that crowd roars towards the end of the national anthem. And as I mentioned, it is a packed house tonight. Plenty of nerves. Chris and Craig, you both played in some big games. You're standing there listening to the national anthem. What does go through your mind as a player?
And with being Anzac Day weekend, it is a special moment when you get to pay respects to the people, I guess, who've made it possible for us to be here. And look, they'll just want that ball to be bounced. The first collision, the first bit of body contact you can feel, the first time you get the ball in the hands, they're the important times to get over those nerves and get the game in motion.
Two skippers come together in the middle, Mark Rasciuto and Warren Treadray, acting captain tonight in the absence of Matthew Primus.
Foul's the call. As it is.
Mark Rasciuto has won the toss. Adelaide will kick to the left of screen in the opening term. Port Adelaide together as a group, Craig, just going through last-minute instructions, a bit of a G-up amongst the boys.
Yeah, they look very close in there, and obviously this is a very They look pretty fired up, and they're not breaking it to get into their positions, just having one last spiel to each other. And I guess at the start of the game, it's very important to get away to a good start in these pressure-filled games.
Nigel Smart made a point on Adelaide Radio a couple of nights ago that there would be a surprise or two as far as matchups are concerned. Chris, what do you reckon?
Well, Perry starting on the bench obviously means that the Crows look like they're going to go with only the two tools in the forward line. So who's the surprise forward? Will it be Graham Johncock? We've seen him play out of a pocket before. Leads extremely well and does finish off well in front of goal. I've just got a gut feeling that Mark Bickley might play a role up in the forward line somewhere, especially early on.
There's Chad Corns, such an important player in this lineup. And Warren Treadway, we head boundary side, and welcome this evening, Troy Gray.
Thanks, guys. And look, it's just dipped below 20 degrees. This is weather more akin to the pre-season competition. There's only a minimum of 15. There is no wind to speak of, so no advantage to be had. Doesn't matter what end you kick to. This is going to be as intense as they come. The look on the boys' faces as they went through their warm-up is nothing like I've seen for a long time. You can hear the crowd behind me. We're in for one heck of a game.
There's Wayne Carey lining up alongside Darryl Wakeland. So many great one-on-one battles to look forward to in this one tonight. Two sides in position, and we're set to go in Showdown 13. Mark Bickley and Andrew McLeod stand together in the middle of the ground. Kane Corns, Josh Carr in there for Port Adelaide. Roger James in there as well. Brogan will start in the ruck. Tyson Edwards joins Bickley and McLeod alongside Biglands, and we are set to go. Right around Australia, this is Showdown 13 between Port Adelaide and the Adelaide Crows, live from Amy Stadium. Brogan got the first tap of the game. Oh. James, and through they went. It was Bickley, came crunching through off the opening bounce, and it is on already.
No doubt about that. Hard wicket off the line as well. That first clash was a beauty.
So James has the free kick. There it is. Rashuto came through and almost knocked Roger James into next week. James has the free kick, goes towards Treadway. Smart. Burgoyne flicked it out to Nick Stevens. It's wide open. He goes towards Sean Burgoyne. Got hands on it. Matner with him. Free kick. Sean Burgoyne held without it. And Port Adelaide can get on the board in the opening minute.
And he has been a revelation, that young lad. He's 20 years of age, and he is their leading goal kicker up till now. So young and yet so experienced. Some early matchups. Nick Stevens, Stenglein has gone with him. Andrew McLeod, well, he's been picked up
Burgoyne.
by Kane Corns.
Sean Burgoyne. A big job for Martin Matner, especially if they look to isolate Burgoyne deep inside the forward 50, and you would imagine they would. They'd like that matchup close to the goal square.
Yeah, I think Mark Williams will be very happy with that. Burgoyne much stronger in the air.
Burgoyne to draw first blood. He rams it through from 15 metres out, and Porter on the board in Showdown 13.
So how's your truck going, Bill? Oh, right. What about yours? Yeah, can't complain. Hey, isn't that Jono? Hey, Jono, get over here, mate. So you've got a new Ford Courier Turbo Diesel. So how's it going?
Bloody beautiful, mate.
The new Ford Courier Turbo Diesel. It's got what the others are missing, including a free bull bar and air conditioning.
Oh, nice!
Perfect start for Port. Their one goal, Adelaide yet to score, early stages, first quarter. There's the bounce, Biglands easily to Bickley. High kick, it was smothered. Biglands now trying to do it himself. Crashes to the ground, though. He's brought to the ground aggressively.
And as you'd expect early on in the centre bounces, a lot of pressure, a lot of contact. And there's no easy ball in there.
Another bounce. McLeod attempted to try and get the kick out. Burgoyne's in there. Pretty untidy footy at the moment. They're all over the football. Very untidy, and the umpire to bounce. Attacking side of centre.
Certainly expected to be like this for the early part of the game. A couple of the key matchups in the forward area. Wakeland's got Carey, Corns and Bassett together, and Nigel Smart with a big job on Warren Treadway.
Brogan, hand pass, not effective. Still pretty untidy. Eventually it comes out. Rashuto, the left foot kick from 50, looking for Carey. Just pushed out of the way. Port Adelaide have got it covered. And Wakeman clears the zone, goes very wide. He's got a loose man out there. An opportunity for Schofield now from half-back. Sends it down wing position through the hands of Corns. It runs at the back. Hart an opportunity now for him. Pickett to come at him. But Hart cleverly around the corner to Bickley. Beautiful football by Adelaide. Now Goodwin. Goodwin inside 50. Carey, no mark. Punched away. Wanganeen not panicking. Forced into the pocket, though into the back pocket. Did well. Gets it to Bishop.
So Bishop from the back line. Goes to Polton. He's got a man in space. It's Cochrane. Takes it on the bounce. Little give to Schofield. And around the wing to Carr. Josh Carr's first possession. Edwards comes at him. Carr can flick it back over the top to Cochrane. From 70 metres out. Goes inside the 50. Chance for Port Adelaide. James will run onto it just inside the line. Flicks it to Treadway. And here comes Rashudo. Takes him hard. And Chris McDermott, Mark Rashudo, we've already seen on 2 or 3 occasions in this game, just stamping his physical presence.
Look, he loves that part of the game. Great to see him starting in the midfield at the start of this game so he can impose his physical presence on this game. None better in the clinches than Mark Rashudo.
Throw in, forward 50 for Port. Edwards tried to slap it to the advantage of Rashudo. Laddam's in there. Shepherd laid on him by Sean Burgoyne. Roger James to the goal square. They'll contest 10 metres out. Ben Hart will collect the crumb for Adelaide. They break to the outer side of the ground. Wide open space. It's McGregor and Bishop. Side by side. Bishop gets his hands on the ball. Slaps it to the line and we'll have a throw in.
Well, that was the surprise matchup Nigel Smart was talking about during the week. McGregor up forward being picked up by Bishop.
So we've gone 5 minutes in the opening term. Port with a goal through Sean Burgoyne in the opening minute. Schofield. Bickley's throwing himself in like there's no tomorrow as well. Edwards. Schofield again. Comes to Stengline. Free kick. Going the way of Port Adelaide. Schofield held and not in possession. Wants to square it up. They're queuing up in the middle of the ground. James has got Stevens over the top. Goes to him now. Draws Laddams. Gives it to Cochrane. He runs to 55. It's a wide open goal square for Peter Burgoyne. And it misses to the left-hand side for a behind. Stuart Cochrane, busy early in his first showdown. He's had 3 touches. Schofield with 3. James has 4 for Port Adelaide.
John Cock goes short. Laddams. Southern end of Football Park. Adelaide yet to score. Laddams with the left foot. Still inside the defensive 50. Tyson Edwards pumps it to his captain. And Rashudo's away from centre half-back. Long kick to right half-forward. McGregor can't mark through his hands. He's in there again. Now he's going to have to get rid of it. Umpire says play it on. Polton. Kane Corns. Down toward left half-forward. Hart in the way. Treadway disappointed. And Hart takes a ripper on his chest because Port Adelaide were coming and coming. Hart goes wide. He's got Goodwin. And Goodwin's getting a bit of the footy early. He'd be pleased with that. Now Andrew McLeod, who's about to move into hyperdrive. He goes from about 60, stops, props, hand passes Rashudo. About 60 metres out sideways to Tawney, who's having a very good year for Adelaide, and he's taken the mark on his chest. He plays on immediately from 65 metres. Long bomb, awkward. Well done, Wakeman. The 2-2s, and Wakeman this time in front of Carey takes a very strong defensive mark and decides to go into the back pocket. It was dangerous, but Hardwick's there.
Plenty happening between Carey and Darryl Wakeland too. But Wakeland took the honours on this occasion. It's Roger James looking for Corns, but he's led to the football by Bassett. Brought it to ground. Cochrane. It ricocheted to Carr. He works it backwards to Roger James. He's backward to centre wing.
And Port Adelaide, they've started well at the moment. Their midfield is just running. There's loose players everywhere, and Adelaide would just want to be a little bit more accountable right at the minute.
They just are on the back foot a little bit at the moment, the Crows, having to work hard. Corns to Cochrane again. 4th touch for him. Possessions 28-16 in favour of Port Adelaide. Cochrane decides to thump it long inside 50. Treadway will fly from behind. Got hands with James at ground level, sharked it and bounces it through for a goal. Port Adelaide with
I mean, I've been into a supermarket before and there's been barcodes on a plastic bag and it's been twisted around like that and they've been trying to scan it and trying to scan it and trying to scan it and trying to scan it. And it can just go on for days. I mean, it could go on for days. I mean, obviously common sense would prevail and they'd just put the number in. But I mean, that's the sort of thing that really, I mean, that's why you have barcodes. So you don't have to put the number in, so you don't have to put the number in, then pull that handle down on the cash register. I mean, it used to take years. I mean, well, that was obviously before my time, so I can't really imagine that, you know, I can only imagine that it took years. But I mean, with something like this, I mean, that's a good surface.
Edwards, Hart, Rashudo, 3 apiece for Adelaide.
2-1, Port Adelaide. Adelaide yet to score. Brogan and Biglands in the middle again. Biglands might have won that. He's in there again. So is Sean Burgoyne. Here's John Cock doing well. Harassing and then kicking inside 50 for Carey over his head. An opportunity for Adelaide again, although Wanganeen's going to be there first, and he picks up brilliantly, as we know he can. He's a wonderful player. He shoots it out wide, and all of a sudden Port Adelaide out of trouble as Schofield loops the hand pass to James. James drops it. He's got a bit of time. Edwards now. High hand pass. Goodwin. Bickley pumps a long hand pass. He's got a couple. Here's Bode. Rashudo ran past him. Bode goes inside 50 looking for Carey. He's caught at the back again, and Wakeland again. So Wakeland's done that a couple of times. It's been tough for Carey, but he's been caught at the back. Carr outside the defensive 50. Now on the western side. Down to wing. Stevens gets another touch, averaging 30 so far this year for Port Adelaide. He's really stepped up with Franco out. Hand pass not particularly good there because that put Kane Corns under enormous duress. Schofield will be disappointed with that. McLeod, left foot kick, down ground. Stevens at the back. Now they've got this covered, Port Adelaide, as Pax moves a long way from where he's normally stationed. Over to Stevens by hand. Short pass to Cochrane, who's done very well this year. Moved across and slotted into the Port Adelaide side nicely. He's on the western wing. He's about to send it inside 50. Strong, penetrating kick for Corns! Yes, 2-3 grabs. Burgoyne, hand pass, missed it. Got it to his brother, Sean. Opportunity for Sean, well done by Mattner. He dragged him down and away go Adelaide. Edwards out wide. Now John Cock outside the defensive 50. And Adelaide working it. Tawney from McGregor. Short pass is okay. 13 to zip. Port Adelaide in front. Adelaide going forward. Rashudo just dropping it nicely. And now Biglands. He's about 75 metres from goal. Where's Carey this time? Geez, nowhere. It goes over his head. Opportunity for Brogan to work it through, and he does. He forces it behind.
Yeah, well done by Brogan there. He sat back in the hole, and he's just lending support to Darryl Wakeland there.
Port Adelaide's defence on top at the moment, boys, and the Crows' forward line just doesn't seem to be well balanced at the moment. Gary is just having a little trouble with his matchups.
So the kick in. Looking for and finding Bishop just outside defensive 50 on the outer side.
And the thing to like about Port at the moment is it's a very decorated midfield for the Crows, but Port, well, they're just playing very attacking footy.
Wanganeen off half-back towards half-forward. John Cox stands in the hole. Gathers his own ball at ground level to Bassett. Goes by hand to the run of Ben Hart outside defensive 50. Couple of men on in space. Stevens to Laddams. He goes towards the 50 and finds Carey. Drops the one he should have taken. Steps around Paxman. Goes inboard and finds Bode at 48. So Bode, second touch. Looks to thump it long from just on the 50. It'll go to the goal square. Brogan gets back. Bishop there as well. And again, Port Adelaide concede.
Just once again, the Crows just having trouble with their forward line. Haven't really got a tall target. Carey getting dragged out of the play at the moment. Wakeland certainly having the better of that early duel.
Maybe just a few nerves for Wayne Carey, Craig.
Well, very impressed with Darryl Wakeland's body strength against Wayne Carey. You thought Carey might just have a slight advantage there, but as at the moment, it's going Wakeland's way.
Hardwick to Carr, to the run of Roger James. Ninth touch for him. We've only played 12 minutes. To Chad Corns on the wing. Covers an enormous amount of territory. Inboard to Schofield for his sixth touch. Accelerates away from Laddams. Goes towards 50 and finds his man Treadray. First touch for Warren Treadray. 55 from home. Standing start towards Sean Burgoyne. Beautiful kick, beautiful lead. And he is an impressive youngster, as good as any 20-year-old going around.
Certainly great on the burst. We've seen him with just a multitude of skills, whether the ball's in the air or on the deck. Got a very smart head, great off the mark. His first 10 is very quick. Marty Matner's not slow by any means, but certainly couldn't contest that mark. Port Adelaide just look to have settled better. Their balance looks much better than the Crows at the moment. The Crows still troubled by their forward line set-up. Their midfield is not quite right, and even in their backup, the Treadray Smart duel, we just questioned that one a little bit too. So Gary Ayres certainly with his work to do at the moment.
It is an overwhelming Adelaide Crows crowd. It is their home game. And a goal here would just help silence them that little bit more. Burgoyne's already got one. Kick on its way. That one never looked like missing. And Port Adelaide have got the first 3 goals of the game.
Stock up with a dozen reds and a bonus Shivers Regal, including Jacobs Creek, Wyndham Estate, Richmond Grove and Poets Corner, only $99.99. Save over $59. Crown Lager 12-pack with bonus glass for $23.99 or $44.99 a carton. Piper's Clan Scotch Whisky with bonus 2-litre Coke, just $23.99. Check out your nearest Booze Brothers for more.
Booze Brothers. Beat the others cold.
So Sean Burgoyne, what a start for him. What a start for Port Adelaide. 3-1, 19, Adelaide 2 behinds. Ball about to be bounced in the middle. Tick under 10 minutes remaining until the first break. Stengline, Goodwin, kick smothered, magnificent by Burgoyne. Now Stevens. That was Peter Burgoyne who did that. Tyson Edwards knocks it to Stengline, who's in trouble now. He's surrounded by Port Adelaide players. Cochrane dragged to the ground by Ben Hart. And the footy's going nowhere. And the players converge and the umpire to bounce inside 50.
And the worrying thing there was Nick Stevens, as that ball got held up, he just ran forward of the play and he was all on his own. If that ball had spilled out, it would have been another goal.
19-2. Corns, that was Kane. Smart. And he's besieged. Peter Burgoyne off the ground. Strong tackling. It's hit down boundary side. Here's Troy Gray.
Boys, just keep an eye on the Wayne Carey-Darryl Wakeland case. The emergency umpire, plenty of work to do. He's been camped out there watching them. Not a happy man, Wayne Carey. An easy drop chest mark, and he's trying to intimidate Wakeland with some presence at the minute.
Bounce inside 50 for Port Adelaide. Danger signs again for Adelaide. Here's Bode to Goodwin. Out of the back pocket. Goodwin kicks it about 60 metres. Bounces a couple, maybe 10 metres. It's about 85 metres from goal now, and it goes over the line. Cochrane there. And as I mentioned earlier, Chris, he's had a pretty good year for Port Adelaide.
Certainly has, with the job on Chris Laddams at the moment. Certainly paying Laddams a lot of respect. He's been in pretty good form for the Crows too, and good little duel, that one.
Throw it in front of the members. Brogan. Over the shoulder. And the Crows like that. And there's plenty of supporters here. And Biglan's just backward of the wing. Long kick down toward left half forward. Bounces behind most. Rashudo in front. Tries to gather. Port Adelaide with numbers, but the umpire sorted a free kick out. It's going Port Adelaide's way, and you can hear the crowd. They are booing, and they're not happy with that at all.
Bit of history and feeling there between Rashudo and Carr.
Kane Corns at the moment, he's doing a wonderful job on McLeod. 2 touches each. Mark Williams will be happy with that.
So Carr goes for a gallop and then just chips it in front of his defensive goal. Polton measures the kick. There's a loose man out very wide, and that's Wakeland. Carey quickly on the mark. 19-2. And Wakeland going sideways to Polton. He just holds it up for a couple of moments. And now he decides to go on that eastern side. Treadray, couple out there. Chad Corns. Caught in a tackle, gets it over toward Treadray. He's got a chance here. Bassett harassing him, shadowing him, and it's over the line.
Gary is making a couple of changes too, boys. Rhett Biglands comes off, being replaced by Matty Clark, and Mark Rashudo making his way to the boundary. Ronnie Burns coming on for his first run for the evening.
Maybe for that indiscretion. There he is, just saying pre-match, can't let your emotions get the better of you. You settle down and play football, and Gary Ayres would know. He was a fantastic big game player, dual Norm Smith medalist. Burgoyne, Peter. Was it a double movement? Umpire said play on. Stengline towards the middle. Mark taken by Wanganeen, who was in scintillating form. 29 possessions last week against the Blues. Called to play on. Laterally to Schofield. He can chip over the top to Bishop. And Matthew Bishop can take it and go. Steps inside Ronnie Burns. Thumps it long. They'll contest 35 metres from goal. Treadray in from the side. Got hands to the football, but never really a chance to mark. It's tidied up by Bode. Goes in the middle of the ground looking for Clark. Bickley the crumb. James to put pressure on. Tawney. Wrapped up by Chad Corns. Play on. McGregor. Spots Burns forward to the play. Steps inside Bishop. Thumps it long. No one home for Adelaide. It's 65 metres out. And it is bouncing through for a goal. Rock and Ronnie's on the board.
Go! Catch all the high-flying marks. Get your Foxtel from Telstra. Get it for less. Get it now. Call Telstra on 1-800-052-052 to find out how.
Rugs for your lounge, rugs for your dining, rugs for your rug racks.
Runners from $19 a metre, sofa sides from $49, dining from just $99. Exquisite, pure wool, half price.
Hurry into Lacornius
before they fly out the door.
Working for them in the opening 15 minutes.
Yeah, you're right, Jason. He needed to do something. Ronnie Burns, that's what he's paid for, to kick goals. Doesn't touch the footy often, but with 3 or 4 touches, he's got to kick his 3 or 4 goals. Great start to him.
So the Crows are on the board after 18 and a half minutes. The margin back to 11 points. Clark in the ruck. Clear tap out. Bickley came through. Goodwin gathered his own ball. Got it to Bode. Adelaide go forward again. Wanganeen comes across. Got hands to it. Burns at ground level through his hands. Bishop dribbles towards the line. Can Edwards keep it alive? He'll get there just ahead of Hardwick. Uses the man in support, Stevens. Kick smothered off his boot. And it's socked off the ground by Roger James. Towards the wing. Bassett hacks it off the ground. Back to James. His 11th touch. Towards half forward. Treadray and Smart. Off the chest of Smart. It spills to Treadray. Goes by hand to Corns. Can kick across his body. He's got a man in space. It's Peter Burgoyne. He'll trot in an open goal and kick Port Adelaide's fourth.
The must-see film that's not only pointless to resist, it's damn near impossible. Premiering Sunday, he found his ticket to freedom in the most unexpected place.
I'm thinking of the Royal Ballet School. Aren't you a bit old, miss?
A hero to cheer, a movie to love. You'll never forget Billy Elliot, Julie Walters and newcomer Jamie Bell in the film that makes your heart dance. The feel-good movie of the year, Billy Elliot, premieres 8:30 Sunday on 10.
3 goals between them already. Sean and Peter. Peter with 1, Sean with 2. The Burgoynes I'm talking about. 4-1 Port Adelaide. Adelaide 1-2. Clark and Brogan. Port Adelaide out of the middle. Quickly down towards centre half forward. Punching away with his left hand as we see him so often do is Bassett. John Cock overrunning the football. Stengline now on the assist. John Cock in there again with Stevens lurking as well. Peter Burgoyne was there as well. Bassett gets the footy somehow. Hand passes to centre half back to Bickley. Now he's going to get caught. And Burgoyne brought him down magnificently. Play on, says the umpire. And it's kicked inside 50 and Smart's taken the mark. And Treadray's disappointed. And Smart plays on and goes out wide. Matner, 25-8. Just under 5 minutes remaining until the first break. Matner measures a left foot pass downfield looking for McGregor. Bishop looking after him. Andrew McLeod caught. Hand pass. Not effective, and the umpire to bounce on the wing on the eastern side.
Garrier's got to do something about Roger James. We see their 13 disposals, Schofield 8, the power certainly on top in the midfield. Garrier's still some headaches with his matchups.
Port Adelaide well on top. First quarter, showdown 13. Clark might have won it, but it doesn't matter. It's over the line once again for another boundary throw-in. And there's Wilson. Michael Wilson hasn't played for over 2 years. 2 knee reconstructions. And it's a big moment for him. An emotional moment for him and the club as well. McLeod caught in a tackle, Bickley. Once again, an ugly pack develops, and once again there'll be a bounce.
And Nick Stevens, he has only had the 5 possessions, but he is running the full length of the ground. He's exhausted at the moment. It's the first quarter. And he's just coping with the tag brilliantly at the moment.
Bounce on the wing. Peter Burgoyne. Bickley tried to wrench it out. There's a go for Adelaide. There's Matner now, down toward right half forward, inside 50, and Burns has taken the mark, drifting back in front of the pack. And Ronnie Burns, who's already got 1, has got an opportunity for 2. Tight angle, outside 50.
Well, he's got to have a shot. I mean, great hands from Ronnie Burns on that occasion. Hasn't been in scintillating form since he spent some time in the SANFL, but he looks pretty sharp tonight.
He goes short. He's got a couple of options, and one of them is the King. And Carey, this is his first showdown. We thought he might have been a little nervous in the early stages. This may settle his nerves. He's got the footy, and he's got an opportunity to put the second on the board for Adelaide. So Carey, you can see the angle clearly. Let's ride it with him. Tucked away, right forward pocket. There's his kick. And it's way across, and there's a mark from McGregor. So Kenny McGregor will get an opportunity in the opposite pocket. Distance not a worry, it's just the angle.
Yes, he's not the worst kick in the club, but he has spent some time in the forward line. Looks pretty keen to run around the man on the mark.
This for Adelaide second. Great camera shot, and he puts it through, and Adelaide get their second. McGregor gets his first.
I train hard 6 days a week. So on Saturday afternoon, I don't want to stand in front of a barbie. I want someone else to be doing the hard work. No burnt snags, just real gourmet stuff. Prawns, calamari and whole black olives. Delivered to me. So all I have to do is arrange it on a platter. I love it.
Oh, wow. That's great. You made that.
New gourmet stuff from Pizza Hut. Easy. Oh, yeah.
McGregor gets his first goal for season 2003. And the margin back to 11 points. Gone 24.5 minutes in the opening term. Brogan and Clark collide in the middle of the ground. Clark did well, rode the Burgoyne bump. Laddams buried in the turf by Cochrane. Schofield got the hands free, brilliantly found a target. Same couldn't be said for Stevens. Gave it up to Johncock. Hardwick will track this back. Did well, kept his head, gave it to Wanganeen. Wanganeen to Corns on the long lead, worked hard and got there. Just forward to centre wing, Chad Corns. 6 touch. Inboard to Stevens. As Craig Bradley mentioned, covers such an enormous amount of territory. Spearing left foot pass. Hits Treadway on the chest.
Yeah, Port Adelaide at the moment, they've got plenty of space in their forward lines. Centre bouncers, they have just got 2 players at full forward and no one else in the whole of the forward line. So Mark Williams will be wrapped with that setup. Very dangerous if the ball comes out quickly. And Warren Treadway on the lead. He's a very hard man to stop.
On the wrong side of the body, Nick Stevens, a beautiful pass. And Treadway now to capitalise. 45 metres out. Waits on it, he likes it. Crowd behind the goal is silent, and that's why.
Go! Feel all the big bumps. Get your Foxtel from Telstra. Get it for less, get it now. Call Telstra on 1-800-052-052 to find out how.
The Autobahn massive CD tuner clearance is on right now. Every single CD player in every store heavily discounted. Some selected models are being reduced by up to $200, but the clearance must end Sunday. Autobahn, Elizabeth, Miland and Noarlunga. Get in quick.
Dying stages of the opening term. Port Adelaide back out to a 17-point lead. They're 5-1-31. The Crows are 2-2-14.
Brogan and Clark about to go head-to-head once again in the middle. Port Adelaide trying to work it away. Kane Corns kick smothered. Then he goes in and does some hard and solid tackling. It's pretty untidy. Carr dispossessed. Now James, who's getting a lot of the leather. Gains about 20 metres. John Cott gathered it, lost it, got it back, then hand passes to Hart. It was just a bit too hard for him. Now he's got problems. He's got Peter Burgon on his hammer. Corns, 35 metres from goal, swings it round and misses. Big build up there.
Just tougher at the contest at the moment, Port boys. Crows would have had an advantage at ground level with their number of players in the midfield, but Port Adelaide far stronger at the footy, winning the tough contest at the moment.
Tackle count 14-10 in favour of Port Adelaide. Having plenty of body on body in close as Hart goes to the outer side and finds Johncock with his 6th touch, joining Bode on 6 possessions for the Crows. Edwards, Goodwin have 5 each. James has 14 for Port Adelaide. What a first term from him. 10 to Schofield, 7 each to Chad Corns and Stevens. To the wing, big pack of players. Spills to the back of the contest. Schofield in best position. Socket off the ground by Bowe to the advantage of McLeod. He goes off the ground as well. It spills to McGregor. And it is quarter time in showdown 13. Port Adelaide got a flyer and hold a very handy 18-point lead at the opening change. They're 5-2-32. Adelaide Crows at 2-2-14. Sean Burgoyne with 2 goals. Singles to Peter Burgoyne, Tread Ray and Roger James. While for Adelaide, the goal kickers, Ronnie Burns and Ken McGregor. It was tough, it was physical, it was intense, everything we expected early on.
Secret Life is Aussie drama that dares to go where other dramas don't.
Good, tired, are you still up?
This episode.
You right?
Sorry.
2 flatmates are about to live the most embarrassing moment of their lives.
You look a bit shagged. Yeah, tough day. She told you.
We can't show you what happens, so you'll just have to watch. McLean's presents Secret Life, 8:30 Monday.
Call Jim's Mowing on 131 546 and we'll not only mow your lawn, we'll also clean up your yard. Call your local Jim for more than just mowing.
Fire up your taste buds with the McDonald's Raging Cajun Burger. A full breast chicken fillet, crisp lettuce, and a fiery Cajun sauce on a tomato polenta roll. All for a flaming good $3.95. Only at McDonald's.
When are you going to get here? We'll get a bus. Then get a taxi. Fellas, we need you. But what?
Oh, you're joking. Hey, Dave. Baz and Kev aren't coming. Flat battery.
I told them. They should have got a century.
So who looks silly now?
Sure that you get the best possible deal. Just take your time.
Okay, that's one.
G'day folks, can I help you here?
How much for this one then?
$14,490. And that includes a CD player, air conditioning, it's a...
Done.
The Value Pack Toyota Echo.
Congratulations.
From $14,490, the haggling's been done for you.
The Office Easy range is on sale at Mile End Office Furniture with another 10% off our low prices. Desks from $134. Returns now $89. Mobile pads now $161. Bookcases $125. Half-door storage now $179. Quarter workstations $35 off, a crazy $314. In takeaway packs or assembled. Office Easy, only at Mile End Office Furniture.
Call Jim's Mowing on 131 546 and we'll not only mow your lawn, we'll also do your weeding. Call your local Jim for more than just mowing.
Fire up your taste buds with the McDonald's Raging Cajun Burger. A full breast chicken fillet, crisp lettuce, and a fiery Cajun sauce on a tomato polenta roll. All for a flaming good $3.95. Only at McDonald's.
Quarter time in AAMI Stadium, and it is Port Adelaide 5-2-32. The Adelaide Crows 2-2-14. Sean Burgoyne, the only multiple goal scorer in the game. He has 2 goals. They got a flyer, did Port Adelaide. Kicked the first couple of goals of the game. They got away beautifully. Adelaide just steadied as that quarter went on, Chris.
Yeah, they certainly did. I mean, their midfield was so dominant. We spoke a lot before the game about the Crows' midfield, how they had the rotations, but Port Adelaide certainly dominant. Roger James touching the ball 14 times in the quarter, just had nobody on him. Schofield 10. They were completely dominant in the midfield, and their forward lines, Corns, Treadray and Sean Burgoyne, 13 touches for 3 goals. The Crows, on the other hand, Carey, Stevens and McGregor, 6 touches for 1 goal. Port far more effective.
Craig, we spoke before the game about Nick Stevens and his impact. Where were Port Adelaide going to go? They've really come out and gone offensive tonight. They're not worried about the Adelaide midfield. They're going to go and get it themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, Kane Cornswell, he's doing a great job on McLeod. But the others, Josh Carr, Schofield, James, well, they're defending, but they're running as well. And Mark Williams, he's gone on the offence, and he said, well, fellas, you're up against some pretty good opposition tonight, but let's take them on. And at the moment, it is proving good dividends for Port Adelaide.
As Mark Rashudo returns to the bench.
Gee, that's an interesting one. Had a real impact in the first 5 minutes, spending some time for what appeared to be an indiscretion on the bench, but he can't afford to sit there for too much longer, that's for sure.
So Mark Rashudo on the bench. There is Simon Goodwin. Bode leads the game with 7 touches. Edwards, John Cock have had 6 apiece. Goodwin and Tawney with 5 apiece for Adelaide. Midfield possession 64 to 50 in favour of Port Adelaide, which is equivalent to 2 effective midfielders additional in that opening term. Hence they lead by 3 goals as we start the second term. Biglands, Perry, Rashudo on the bench for Adelaide. So Power by 18 points. Clark in the ruck against Brogan. Brogan comes at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Hardwick crashes through. Peter Burgoyne got hands on it. Umpires picked out a free kick. It's going the way of Port Adelaide. Hardwick to Kane Corns. To half forward out into the path of Treadray to run onto. Smart to beat. Good effort from Smart and Hart. They combine. Hart gets around Pickett. Goes to the wing and finds McGregor. Good football from the 2 veterans. McGregor on centre wing. To half forward. Big pack. Carey comes over the top. Brings it to ground for Bode. Handball to Edwards. Hardwick to beat. Back to Bode. Inside 50. Clears Carey. Deft tap from Burns to Carey. From the boundary, squares it up into the path of John Cock. Will it sit for him? Can't. Does he give away the free kick? Play on's the call. Adelaide crowd are ropeable. As Carr comes away, tumbles it to open space, and the ball will come back in, because there's only Mark Bickley out there. He can look up and thump it long. Brogan and Clark. Brogan stands tall. It takes a good defensive mark for Port Adelaide.
Certainly improved that part of his game, Dean Brogan. Not a good enough effort there from Matthew Clark. Brogan strong in defence.
So Brogan decides to go out wide. That's to the eastern side. Out there is Carr and Bickley. Gets it to Stevens, confronted by Paxman. And Bickley's going to get a free kick. 32 to 14. Port Adelaide lead. Bickley goes short and finds Tawney. And James to stand the mark. Is that a good year for them, Chris?
Certainly has. Looks like he's got the job on Roger James at the start of this second quarter. And he'll make Roger James work both ends of the ground. Not a bad move by Gary Ayres. He had to do something to stop James's influence. No better man than Jason Tawney.
Well, this will be the perfect start for Adelaide. Early stages of the second quarter of Showdown 13. That's what he's confronted by. There's his kick. It needs to swing, but it won't. It goes straight through for a behind.
And the LA Crows, well, you know they're going to kick quick goals at some stage of the game. It's going to come. It's just a matter of when. So Port, they just need to keep the momentum going.
This is Nick Stevens from fullback, southern end of Football Park. Tawney putting pressure. Here's a chance for Burns now. He's got to get the hand pass away. Stevens, who kicked the footy in, is there as well. And they're pretty lucky to get out of that, Port Adelaide.
Very risky when you're kicking short from full-back to a stationary player. Ronnie Burns, once again, having an influence on this game. He's certainly come to play tonight.
So a bounce, still in the danger zone for the Adelaide Crows. About 30 metres out from their goal. Holton went up for Port. Stenglein tried to stand tall in the tackle. Kick partly smothered. Holton in there. Schofield in there too for Port Adelaide. Hardwick comes through and lays body heavily on John Cock. And yet another bounce.
And one thing Port are doing real well is getting back into defence and clogging it up as much as they can.
There's Damien Hardwick, played in plenty of big games in his career. Loves this situation. Clark, handball to Stevens, got the arms free, got it to Edwards. Bishop cut it off for Port Adelaide. Bickley puts his body in. He's crunched by Hardwick. Edwards and Stevens stand tall. Hardwick goes again. And another bounce. Port moved the scrum about 20 metres in their direction.
Been some fantastic work in the clinches tonight. We knew it would be tough. We knew both teams had come to play. We expected a physical contest and certainly have not been let down.
Port by 17 points. Early going in the second term. Brogan palms it outside 50 to the run of Roger James for his 15th touch. Got a man in space. It was a beautiful kick for Treadray. Wheels onto the left. Scrubby inside 50. Corns read it off the boot, but the bounce beat him. Pickett at 50 with Hart to beat. Hart goes again. Did well. McLeod to McGregor to Tawney by hand to Bode. And Adelaide are away on the counter punch. Goodwin through the middle of Amy Stadium. Looks up. Kicks long. It's 3-on-1. Stengline got it to ground. Clark. Edwards falls over. Stevens comes at him. Back to Stengline. Inside 50. Kick misses a target. Polton can take it to the line. And does.
And at the moment, the Crows' defence is under siege, but Benny Hardy's doing a great job on Byron Pickett. Pickett yet to touch the ball.
Touch and go, that one.
Worth a try.
Throw in. Clark and Brogan towards the line. Goodwin release the hands to Laddams. Goes with the left foot banana. Bends it back. Bends it back. And misses. Good effort from Chris Laddams. Gave it a shot. Gave it a ride. It didn't quite get there.
Kicked the one from there in the pre-season competition. Is a beautiful kick for goal. Hasn't seen much of the action tonight, but has been very sharp around the goals so far this year.
Good to see a youngster back himself in, kick it from there as well.
He'll back himself in every time, that one.
So Stevens doing everything. Now he's got the kicking in duties. Beautiful setup. Found a loose man at defensive 50. It was Bishop. He goes to Peter Burgoyne. Around the outer wing. Searching kick, looking for Treadray. Works smart under the football. Spills to the back. Treadray bumped Tawney off it. McLeod working in the defensive half. And it's slapped to the line. Andrew McLeod with 5 possessions in the game so far, averaging 25 a game and 7 inside 50s a game as well, but Craig getting most of his footy behind the centre.
Well, he's getting footy under pressure too. Kane Corns is making him earn everything he gets at the moment.
16 points is the lead to Port Adelaide, throwing it right half forward. Clark, two-handed knock, nicely done. Adelaide now an opportunity to go forward. Tyson Edwards from Stengline, beautiful kick by Edwards. Now to Bickley's got to get rid of it quickly. Inside 50, looking down there for Burns, who's being held on to. And Ronnie Burns will get the free kick. And Polton is screaming at the umpire. But the umpire has made his decision, and Ronnie Burns, in fact, it's coming back. Is it going to go to the King? No, it'll go to Burns.
I don't know. I reckon he had a fair case too. Maybe a little bit hard done by Gareth.
So Ronnie Burns now with an opportunity to get his second. He's 35 from goal, little or no angle. He's kicking to the southern end, and he kicks a goal. And he gets his second.
Carlton draft, please. Have a look at the body on that. What about the head, eh? Talk about thick. Talk about the Carlton draft. He's got a big body, thick head. It's fresh from the brewery. You still there? You gone? Definitely gone.
So 2 goals to Ronnie Burns. The margin back to 10 points. Schofield has a breather, as does Treadray.
Didn't quite look right, Warren Treadray, I don't reckon. Just looked a little proppy.
First game back from injury for Warren Treadray. In the middle of the ground, Burgoyne, Peter Burgoyne. Couldn't quite get away from the Stengline tackle. Bickley in there working hard. Socket off the ground by Wilson. Pickett comes through. Hart couldn't get his kick away. Pickett towards half forward. Smart attacks it. Bassett comes through. Comes to Cochran. Screws it inside 50. It's 2-on-1. Pickett had the sit. Ben Hart having a marvellous second turn to Johncock. To the outer side, the bounce for Tawney, taken down by James. Has got Bode in support. Bode looks up, goes towards Goodwin and finds him on centre wing. Wanganeen right on his shoulder, but the kick was a beauty from Bode. Goodwin looks for Bickley. Hardwick over the top with a well-timed fist. McLeod read the crumb. Got it to Edwards. Draws James, gives it back to McLeod. Champ goes from 65 metres and finds Burns. Wheels around, goes looking for Carey. Hardwick read it, got an important hand on the football. Brogan to Polton. Looks up. He's got a man in space and it's Peter Burgoyne. Comes away from defensive 50. Ugly looking kick off the instep. It's gathered by Johncock. And he goes by hand to Bassett. Now uses Edwards. Edwards to Stengline. To 50. They wrestle. Laddams paid the mark. And that could be 50. Wakeland thumped it away. Umpire says yes indeed. Umpire Martin Ellis penalising Darryl Wakeland. And it'll be a 50-metre penalty which will take Chris Laddams right to the goal line.
And a fantastic mark by Chris Laddams. Body on body with Stuart Cochrane. Held his ground. The mark was there and so was the 50. You cannot afford to give charity goals in tough games like showdowns. What would have been a difficult shot now becomes a laydown for Laddams.
And Laddams kicks the goal. The margin back to 4 points in showdown 13.
Meet Janet. She bought a Simpson washing machine and dryer and suddenly found the time to develop a killer backhand. Next door, Teresa bought a Simpson dishwasher and now has time to discuss current affairs. Tanya bought a Simpson oven and she then had the time to get to know the new neighbour, Tim. Simpson's time-saving features give you more time for life. Simpson, time for life.
Laddams gets his first, an important one. And Adelaide dominating in this, the second quarter of showdown 13. Clark and Brogan, McLeod dragged down over the shoulder. So he'll take the free kick, the champ in the middle of Amy Stadium, smack bang in the middle.
And Kane Collins, he'd be disappointed with that. Burgoyne infringed McLeod.
Out wide, looking for Goodwin. Couldn't find him though. Wilson, good to see him back. Hand passes defensively. Now Hardwick from half-back. Kicks it down toward right half forward. Corns can't mark. It's Corns to Corns. That was Chad to Kane. Kane inside 50. McGregor's got a bit of a task here. He's got Thurstons to contend with. And he gets it over the line.
Second quarter stats possessions 43-18 in favour of Adelaide. Inside 57-3 in favour of the Crows.
Certainly game on now, boys.
Showing right forward pocket. For Port Adelaide. So the door well and truly ajar for them. Chad Corns over the top. Here's Carr, dragged down, tried desperately to get his kick away. Adelaide now outside of the defensive 50, but only just. This will be interesting. Smart outnumbered. He's got a couple to contend with. He's got to keep his feet. Gee whiz. Wilson. Pickett. Short pass to Sean Burgoyne's okay. And Burgoyne's 60 metres from goal. He sends it to a more central location. That is a beautiful kick. You heard Chris in the background. And he kicks it to his brother Peter. And Peter will go back and line up for Port Adelaide 6. They're 5-2.
And as a forward, they're the ones you dream about. Burgoyne, he just drifted forward, was all alone for a good 20 seconds. And eventually the ball came out to him. You see Pickett there getting a message from Mark Williams. He's had a quiet night so far. I've got no doubt he'll be back in the action soon.
So Peter Burgoyne with 1, Sean Burgoyne with 2, Warren Treadway with 1 and Roger James with 1. 32-28. We've got all the information there. Around 11 minutes to go until the major break. Here's Peter Burgoyne now. We ride it with him from behind the goals. What's he done with it? He may have missed. He may have missed. He hasn't. It is a goal.
Tonight on After the Game, we'll talk to Melbourne high flyer Russell Robertson.
Are we going to talk about the showdown?
Yes, we will.
What about Spider's cheekbone?
That too.
What about other stuff?
Why not?
Morty Bromberg?
Not enough time for that.
I got it all, baby. 9:30 Tuesday on Road. Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Jackman, Heidi Flies, and Audio Slave.
I want to be your love tyrant. What the?
Road Fly, 9:30.
Peter Burgoyne second. Margin back out to 10 points. Played almost 14 minutes in the second term at Amy Stadium. Brogan in the ruck against Clark. Taken by Bickley. But only as far as Nick Stevens. Possession number 8 for him. Goes inside 50. Beautiful delivery to Thurstons. First touch for Toby Thurstons this evening. He's got a man in space. Kick doesn't quite get there. It was Guerrera. But Bassett came across, read it beautifully off the boot and took the mark. Handball to Bickley. Goes over the top to the run of Gallagher, who's also just come onto the ground. Bounce favours him on the outer wing. Wheels around onto his right boot. Comes inboard looking for Edwards. It was a dangerous kick. But he beat Guerrera to the football. Edwards. To Clark at 60. Back to Gallagher, who ran on. He can run to the 50, James Gallagher. Go to the goal square. Brogan again, filling that hole and taking the defensive mark. Getting back, doing the disciplined thing.
Really maturing as a ruckman, Dean Brogan.
Goes looking for Burgoyne. John Cock had to stand and wait. He's got a man over the top. It's Wilson. Spots him now. And another one on, it's Chad Corns. Just got to get it to him. Didn't have time. He was shut down by Bassett on the mark. Now to Burgoyne. Now to Corns. Represented himself. Did well. Runs away from Bickley. Goes inside 50. Over the top, McGregor at the dying moment. Enough pressure on Thurstons. Sean Burgoyne to Treadray. Pumps it back out to Kane Corns, who stands and delivers from 25. Goal to Port Adelaide. Kane Corns gets his first. Good transition play from half-back. Good fluency. Open forward line for Port.
And that was good hard running from the power. Then Peter Burgoyne, he tracked the ball all the way up the wing. Michael Wilson, good to see him back in the Port colours. He's having a good night so far. And Chad Corns, he's such a danger up forward. Adelaide had all the momentum, but now it just goes back to the power.
44 to 28. Port leads 7-2 to 4-4. And away we go again. Brogan and Clark. Clark got his hand to it. Edwards, hand pass okay to Bickley, round the corner. They need a mark. Ronnie Burns gathers it nicely, gives it across to Bode. High kick. This will be tough. They come from everywhere. Port Adelaide with the numbers though. And a very strong grab in the end to Wakeland.
Been fantastic tonight. Certainly had the better of Wayne Carey to this stage.
Took it on his chest. In front of goal. Kicks it out wide. Bishop just pushed hard out of the way. 44-28. Port Adelaide comfortably at the moment. Adelaide with a charge early in this quarter, but then Port came back strongly. Paxman down ground to a contest. McLeod, Kane Corns with him on the assister's heart, the ever reliable heart. From wing to centre half forward to the King. Couldn't mark. At the back is Gallagher. Gets it across to Stengline. Stengline has a shot. It's way offline. And getting back is Brogan. It goes through for a behind. Really putting pressure on Adelaide's forwards, making it awkward for them.
Doing a great job in the second quarter, Tyson Stengline. Nick Stevens stuck on 8 possessions, only 1 touch this quarter. Great to see Tyson Stengline, Kane Corns, 2 young kids learning their craft, both doing very good jobs on quality opponents.
This is Paxman. Sizing up the situation. He decides to go half distance really at 35-40 metres to Polton. Now outside the defensive 50, down toward Wakeland territory. There's a couple out there. Wanganeen's one. McLeod to tackle him. Loose ball now, close to the boundary line. Bode keeps it in. Now Goodwin, round the corner. Outnumbered Adelaide yet again. Rashudo's in the van though. Opportunity for Paxman. He's surrounded, brought to the ground. Peter Burgoyne pumps the hand pass to a man who's loose on the other side of that pack. Left foot kick goes Guerra downfield, and the mark taken by Treadray. Right in front of us on the western wing, in front of the members. He squares the footy. There's a man in space. It's Wilson. And Wilson runs to about 75 and then swings it inside 50 for Corns. Overruns it slightly. Keeps it in the area. Johncock needs a runner. Against the flow. Hand passing over the top in the end. Back he goes. From Bassett. Changes direction. This is dangerous. McGregor had to stand his ground. Adelaide lucky to get out of it. And away goes Goodwin.
Goodwin through the middle of Amy Stadium. He's got a man in space. The game just opening up in the last couple of minutes. Edwards can chip over the top to Burns. He marks at 50. Bickley breaks for him.
And there are players loose everywhere at the moment. It's just a matter of who's going to score the goal first. Certainly, I think by the end of this game, there'll be some tired players.
Ball's with Burns. 55 out directly in front. Decides to load up the big talk. He goes with the barrel. Had plenty of distance, but missed to the left-hand side from behind Ronnie Burns.
Bigland's come on, Clark's come off.
2 goals, 1 his return. There's Wayne Carey on the bench. 3 possessions, 1 mark so far in the game for Wayne.
Just looked a little bit out of sorts. Darryl Wakeland's done a tremendous job on him. Ronnie Burns, the key forward for the Crows at the moment. He looks sharp.
His Pickett watches on. He's had 2 touches. Stevens to Wakeland. 6 touch for Darryl Wakeland. Started the game in splendid fashion. A couple of one-on-one victories against Wayne Carey. Just set the tone early on for Port Adelaide. They grew in confidence from there. Wakeland hard pressed against the boundary line. Goes long to the outer wing. Paxman will fly over the top. Rashudo with a fist. Got it down to Goodwin. Kept it alive to Bode. Bode can square it up to 50. Perry will come over the top and juggles it, paid. First touch for Ian Perry.
Instant reward.
And a confidence-boosting catch for Ian Perry. Didn't play last week. Didn't play any footy at all last week. After a couple of indifferent weeks for the Crows. Had an outstanding pre-season form. He replaces Wayne Carey into the game straight away. An important kick for him and an important kick for the Crows.
Indeed it is. Port would get the next one. The margin would blow out to 20 points. This can reduce it back to 8. Ian Perry, 3 goals, 2 for the season from 55 metres. Awkward looking off the foot. And now it's off the woodwork. Behind to Ian Perry. And Adelaide with 10 scoring shots to 9.
And this is the stage of the game. There's only 6 minutes to go before half-time. And a couple of goals here to either side would make a vast difference. Just need to stay tight, stay focused.
Holton at defensive 25 to Schofield at the 50. Thought about playing on. Now weighs up his options. Stevens breaks for him short, and that's where he goes. Just got away from Stenglein then. And takes the mark.
And the pair at the moment, they're refusing just to kick the packs. They want to use the ball. They want to kick to a leading player. They don't just want to bomb it away.
Plenty of leads. You can see it there on your screen. Shredrow offered one. Schofield offered one. In the end, Stevens does go long. Smart at the back. Fumbled it. Goodwin. Back to Smart. Flips it over the top to Biglands. The big man runs to 70 metres out. Goes looking for Rashudo. Further afield. At the back was Hart. Sneaking down there. Wakeland will take it to the line and concede another rush behind.
Big change in momentum in the midfield. Roger James, Schofield, Nick Stevens all dominant in the first quarter, only with 5 touches between them. Edwards, Bowden, Goodwin a little quieter in the first quarter, now with over 18 touches in the second quarter. That's where the change in momentum's come from. The Crows midfield working themselves into the game nicely.
James just waiting his chance to return to the action. Paxman with the kicking in duties, goes to himself, gains a couple of metres, and then by hand to Wakeland. They get it almost to the wing. Lade and Biglands negate each other. Wanganeen at the back goes towards Chad Corns. He's got Bassett to beat. They go to ground. Play on's the call. Handball to Lade. He tries to flip it over the top. McLeod picked it off. It was intended for Guerra. Bode got it to Johncock. Now it opens up. Gallagher through the middle. Can use the run in support of Ben Hart. He goes to 55. Thumps it long towards the line. Wakeland sensing the danger gets back. He takes another defensive mark.
And that's a wasted opportunity for Adelaide. They had 3 players everywhere. Stenglein, the handball was on for him to run into an open goal. But Benny Hart just blazed away a bit there.
Wanganeen, the kick just floated over his head. He's got to take Stenglein on. Does so. Gets taken down in a tackle. Perry breaks the Cochrane tackle. Gets it to Rashudo, to Laddams from 35. Tries to bend it back with the body language, but it won't work. And it's 1-2 to Chris Laddams.
Give them a rap and they let you down every time, don't they?
Adelaide at the moment, they're looking good. They're not scoring goals, but you can just sense that they are right in this game. They're only 12 points down.
Roger James about to have his 16th disposal. 44 to 33 to himself. And then to the flank on the eastern side to a very busy area. Punch to the front. Laddams just overruns it now. He's got problems. He's going to get a free kick. Michael Wilson arguing the point. No point in that. Here's Laddams now, well outside 50. Kicks to about 20, but Wakeland once again, he's been very good, hasn't he? Hand pass over the top to Burgoyne, to Wanganeen. A couple of stars in this Port Adelaide side. Now to Lade. Good to see him back too. Who knows what adversity's all about. Wanganeen from half-back down toward left half-forward. Smart caught at the back. Kane Corns to Guerra. High kick by Guerra. Rashudo in best position. Takes a very strong grab. Paxman with him, but Rashudo was too strong. Judged it nicely. Goes sideways to Gallagher. 44-33. And we've got a tick under 2.5 minutes remaining until half-time. Downfield looking for Burns, who's been pretty good. Gets it to Tawney. That was good stuff. Tawney inside 50. And he wouldn't be pleased with that. Hardwick missed the mark. He had time to get back. Adelaide, a real chance there, but they messed it up. And here's Bishop in slow motion. Hart's got him. The umpire says play it on. Schofield round the corner. He's got Cochrane, and Cochrane's marked.
2 minutes remaining till half-time. Schofield. It's a 2-on-1. Edwards has got Wilson and Paxman to beat. Gets there first. Keeps his feet. Wilson comes at him again. Edwards will be happy to find the line. Bassett arrives in support. Did well. Got it to Goodwin. Now to Rashudo. Captain is having an influence in the last couple of minutes. 7th touch coming up. He's 80 metres out from goal.
Got no tall targets. The Crows. Perry has come on to replace Carey, but the goal square is barren. There is no tall target long for Rashudo.
Biglands drifts back there now. Rashudo will pop it up. Biglands will contest. Gets to the front. Almost got hands on it. Lade. Bow tries to crash through. Burgoyne takes him down. Polton to Hardwick. And he goes around his body. Bishop happy to get it to the line. Umpire says throw it in.
And got to be super impressed with Paul Power's back line. Wakeland, Wanganeen, they are prepared to leave their man and back into the packs. Hardwick's another one. And it's just a real team defence at the moment that is keeping the Crows down.
They've hit their target tonight, Port Adelaide, as we mentioned. Happy to go short to make sure they find a target as opposed to thumping it long, as evidenced by the marks tally. Cochrane thumped it outside defensive 50. That was Chad Corns flashing across your screen. Bickley, that was him again, laying the smother. Chad Corns, great effort. Bassett to Bickley, around the body to 50. Some miscommunication between Biglands and Bode. Biglands has got it now, thumps it high inside 50. John Cox there, Gallagher's there. Spills to Peter Burgoyne. Handball missed its target. Lade with 35 seconds left on the clock, back to Burgoyne. They're under pressure, Port Adelaide. Play on for call, no mark. Goodwin to John Cox, twisting and turning from 50. Can Adelaide pinch one right on the siren? Wakeland. Here's Burns. Swings onto the left and kicks the goal! It was almost inevitable. Ronnie's got 3. And that's a big goal right on the tick of half-time.
Huge goal after 5 minutes of an arm wrestle. The game was deteriorating. There was pressure everywhere. Somebody needed to stand up and have a clean possession. Ronnie Burns has been the key man for the Crows inside 50 all night tonight. To evasive for Jared Polton onto the left foot. He celebrates, as does the Crows fans. Ronnie Burns is hot and the Crows are back in this contest. It's not pretty, but it's effective.
5 the difference, 44-39. As half-time approaches here at Amy Stadium, 15 seconds remaining. Is there time for another goal from either of these sides? Showdown 13. Hope you're enjoying the coverage as the tension continues to build. Biglands, Tawney, out of the middle. About 10 seconds remaining. Matner now on the logo. Downfield, they need a mark here. Hart's got it. Benny Hart's got it. 4 seconds remaining. 2, 1, and he goes back. And he's played on. And it's half-time here at Amy Stadium. And what a first half it's been. Port Adelaide 7-2-44. Adelaide 5-9-39. The margin at half-time is 5 points.
Port Adelaide by 18 points at the opening break. They kicked the first 3 goals of the game. But in that turn, Port Adelaide adding 2 straight goals. The Adelaide Crows adding 3 goals, 7, to reduce that 18-point lead at quarter time back to just 5 points in showdown 13. Port 7-2-44. The Crows are 5-9-39. Back with more right after this.
Sunday.
Big laughs.
Big brother.
Big movie. At 6:30, the movie you loved is now a hit new series. The original cast in My Big Fat Greek Life.
People are eating.
At 7, live from the new Big Brother house, it all starts with a special 90 minutes as the housemates go in. At 8:30, the feel-good movie smash. For the first time on network TV, Billy Elliot.
Sunday.
Big laughs.
Big brother.
Big movie.
10.
Now you can enjoy the excitement of Foxtel with Telstra and save money.
It's easy with the Telstra Rewards package. When you package a Foxtel with your Telstra home phone, you'll save 5% every month off your Foxtel. Or when you package your Foxtel and your home phone with your Big Pond Internet or Telstra Mobile, you'll save 10% every month off your Foxtel. To find out how you can save, call Telstra
on 1800 052 052.
I didn't have a job as such previous to joining the Navy, and I went straight from school to the academy. The RV Franklin rescue on board Anzac was about the first real incident that we'd done. Between 3 or 4 of us driving the ship, we got the ship out there and then come back as quick as we could. He was pretty lucky, and the seas were pretty big, and I mean it makes you feel good because you did the job properly and it was effective.
The biggest has just got even bigger. City dismantlers have expanded to include City truck dismantlers. So whether you run an F100 up to a Volvo, Kenworth or any type of truck, City truck dismantlers are bound to have the part for you. They have a huge range of parts and accessories, including fully reconditioned engines and gearboxes. And because it's part of the City's complex, the machine shop and workshops are state-of-the-art, second to none. City truck dismantlers for all your trucking needs. Grand Junction Road, Jeps Cross.
His ankle's back, his head up. Mom, Dad, everyone was cheering.
Yeah. Thanks, Mum.
Tell Mum thanks.
Thanks,
Mum.
With 10 pieces of their famous chicken, 4 crispy strips, lots of sides, and a Sara Lee Black Forest cake, KFC's Mum's Banquet is the best way to say,
thanks, Mum.
At Truscott Hi-Fi, every plug leads to a bargain. Panasonic 68cm stereo flat screen TVs, $150 off. Truscott Hi-Fi, Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
The reverse angle showed that was a good call for offside.
Oh, my word, I think we've got extra man on the pitch.
Can't imagine he'll get too far, though.
I don't know. So far, he's giving the police nothing but a good look at his backside. I don't know if this is a cry for help, but it certainly got my attention. Oh dear, that's an image going to stay with me for a very long time.
Scorched onto my retina. Bet they'll confiscate those shoes if they ever catch him.
And he's off like a bull with gas.
As an officer, I'm earning good money, and so I'm still very much in training. I can't think of too many other jobs where I could still be at such a junior level of training and to earn the wage I'm earning.
.44 leading the Adelaide Crows, 5-9-39. The margin 5 points. Was Port by 18 points at quarter time. But then Adelaide came out and kicked 3 goals 7 to 2 straight goals to reduce the margin. Ronnie Burns with 3 goals for Adelaide has been the star up forward, while the Burgoyne boys have 2 goals apiece. And what's been an entertaining, a physical and intense contest, everything we expected it to be. Port Adelaide, gentlemen, got a fly. They kicked the first 3 goals of the game, but after that, Adelaide just worked themselves back into the contest.
Yeah, they were fantastic. The Port Adelaide midfield, I mean, Roger James was tremendous in the first quarter, along with the Schofield, Nick Stevens, having 31 touches between them. Momentum changed in the second quarter, though. They only had 8 touches in the second quarter, where Edwards, Goodwin and the Crows midfield certainly stood up. They had to answer the challenge, and they certainly did that.
Well, Craig, the Adelaide captain, Mark Rasciuto, certainly stated his intentions early on in the piece. That opening bounce, he came crashing in and certainly imposed his physical presence a couple of times in that first half.
Well, he certainly did, and that's his job as skipper. He's well respected, and look, it's his hardness around the contest that really gives this side some spirit. And look, it's a big game, and he's not going to take a backward step, that's for sure.
An old sparring partner there in Carr and Rasciuto going at it. But up forward for Adelaide, a man who just played the 1 game, coming in his 2nd game for the club tonight, is Ronnie Burns. And he was certainly the man who gave him the spark. The forward line, Chris, wasn't working early on. They went to Carey a couple of times. They moved Ronnie Burns into the game and he's kicked 3.
Ronnie Burns was great, came off the bench, certainly looked sharp, had the better of the duel with Jared Polton. Could have kicked 4. Certainly his best game for the Crows so far. Nothing out of Carey, nothing out of Perry and nothing out of Stevens for the Crows. A real headache for Gary Ayres at half-time.
The forward structure just wasn't working early on. You mentioned Carey, Perry and Stevens. Craig, between them they had just 7 possessions in the opening half of football. But inject this dangerous man, and he loves the big occasion, Ronnie Burns, and they just changed the structure. He played it pretty smart, did Gary Ayres. As I mentioned, Carey, Perry, Stevens, just 7 touches between them in the opening half of football. Wasn't working. What do you do in the second half?
Look, it mightn't be a bad thing. Look, they haven't had much of the ball, but they're 5 points down, and they really haven't had much of the ball. So give the second half, if those players can just contribute a little bit more, the Power, could be in trouble.
What do you make of Wayne Carey, Chris? Early on, they had a couple of one-on-one contests with Darryl Wakeland. Wakeland did superbly and grew in confidence.
Extremely frustrated, Wayne Carey. Plenty happening behind the play between the two of them. Darryl Wakeland certainly with the better of the duel. Wayne Carey's just got to get his focus back on the football, start leading, making himself more of a presence inside 50. He's had, an ordinary half, but being such a champion, he'll certainly fire up and can still be an important player and a match winner in the second half.
Good point you make, Craig, that Carey, Perry and Stevens, none of them have had a big influence on the game, but it's only 5 points the margin at half-time. So Gary Ayres will come out after half-time, restructure the forward line and try to get them back into the game. The second term, while it was a story of wasted opportunities for the Adelaide Crows, had plenty of scoring shots, kicked 3 goals 7 to 2 straight goals, and at half-time they've had 14 scoring shots to 9.
Well, once again, a good sign. I mean, they're getting a lot of ball. They've changed the game around. They started getting some possessions and just getting shots on goal. So eventually they started to put a few through, and you would think come this second half that they've got the mix pretty right now.
They certainly managed to halt the momentum. It was Port Adelaide early, as I mentioned, Chris. The first 13 and a half minutes, they'd kicked 3 goals and were threatening to bust the game open. It was a bit of an arm wrestle, as showdowns often are. Adelaide got back onto even Stevens, and then as we take a look at the match stats, not a lot in it. Port Adelaide have had more kicks. Adelaide have had more handballs. Contested possessions, the Adelaide Crows have worked their way on top.
Certainly have. Plenty of inside 50 for the Crows, but so wasteful with the ball as we saw on that occasion. Laddams moving forward, Benny Hart moving forward. Their skills certainly let them down on areas tonight, and they could have been in front at half-time, still with plenty of work to do, though. I think Port have looked a little bit smoother during the first half.
Inside 50s, Craig, 28 to 20 in favour of the Adelaide Crows. As you mentioned, their midfield is getting the ball forward.
Well, they're just starting to generate it. They struggled in the first term, but you could see the shift coming. So I'm sure Gary Ayres, he'll be stressing that point to them in the change rooms. Look, boys, we've got it back on track. We're getting a bit of ball. Let's just try and get it through the sticks.
Well, it's conversion is the issue for Adelaide. We'll check out Port Adelaide's issues after the break as we take a further look at Showdown 13. At half-time, it's Port Adelaide leading by 5 points, 7-2-44. Adelaide 5-9-39. Back with more after this.
She is really leaving. Turn her bedroom into a sauna. I could never. You think?
The movie you loved is now a hit new series. My Big Fat Greek Life premieres 6:30 Sunday.
Stock up with a dozen reds and a bonus Shivers reboot, including Jacobs Creek, Wyndham Estate, Richmond Grove and Poets Corner, only $99.99. Save over $59. Crown Lager 12-pack with bonus glass for $23.99 or $44.99 a carton. Piper's Clan Scotch Whisky with bonus 2-litre Coke, just $23.99. Check out your nearest Booze Brothers for more.
Booze Brothers.
Beat the others cold.
At Truscott Hi-Fi, every plug leads to a bargain. LG DVD players with a host of features, $50 off. Truscott Hi-Fi, Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
Fire up your taste buds with the McDonald's Raging Cajun Burger. A full breast chicken fillet, crisp lettuce, and a fiery Cajun sauce on a tomato polenta roll. All for a flaming good $3.95. Only at McDonald's.
When are you going to get here? We'll get a bus. Then get a taxi. Fellas, we need you. But what?
Oh, you're joking.
Hey, Dave. Baz and Kev aren't coming. Flat battery.
I told them. They should have got a century.
So who looks silly now?
Big savings on a big range of hardware in Stratco's big sale. Stratco colour roofing from just $9.95 a lineal metre. Laserlight 2000 polycarbonate roofing only $14.50 a metre. 24-month interest-free terms on Stratco Outbacks with a bonus $150 gift voucher. Black & Decker circular saw just $89 with a bonus blade. And Stratco colour fence sheets, great value at $11.65 each. What you need today? It's big.
Do you want to know how many doctors and nurses are going to spend their holidays? Trying to repair the damage that drunk drivers do to themselves and other people. That's why the police will be concentrating on catching drink drivers during this holiday period. Don't fool yourself. The police know the location of every drink drive hotspot and will be working 24 hours a day to catch drink drivers. And while we're working over the holidays, don't let it be because we're working to save your life.
At Truscott Hi-Fi, every plug leads to a bargain. Hitachi 51cm stereo TVs with teletext, $100 off. Truscott Hi-Fi, Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
Fire up your taste buds with the McDonald's Raging Cajun Burger. A full breast chicken fillet, crisp lettuce, and a fiery Cajun sauce on a tomato polenta roll. All for a flaming good $3.95. Only at McDonald's.
At the new time, 8 o'clock Wednesday. Since it's been away, most of us have felt like Skid. The Skid is back.
Daniel, door's here.
All new Skid House, all new time. 8 o'clock Wednesday on 10.
Got a flying start, kicking the first 3 goals of the game in the opening 13 minutes. 2 of those came to Sean Burgoyne, who looked to rip the game apart early on before finally Adelaide managed to get him under control. But Chris, Sean Burgoyne's such a dangerous player.
He certainly is. Looked beautiful on a lead, great, holds his ground extremely well. Got the free kick on that occasion. The match-up with Matner wasn't good early. Burgoyne certainly looked dangerous, but in the air or off the deck, he is a very dangerous player and only so young.
And his brother, Peter Burgoyne, Craig, is a pretty handy customer as well. And it was interesting with Peter, we saw him kick a couple of goals early in the game, but he then managed to push into the midfield a little bit and actually ended up getting 13 possessions of his own.
Well, that's the beauty of Peter Burgoyne. He can play in the midfield and he can play up forward. Very elusive. He sniffs an opportunity very well, and if there's a goal on, he'll get into position very quickly. We see here he was alone for a good 10 seconds when that ball was kicked in, and deadly around goals.
So he's got 2, Sean Burgoyne's got 2. Ronnie Burns has 3 goals for the Adelaide Crows. They came to play Port Adelaide early on. They've got some big name stars and they were all pumped up for this game. We saw a couple of fantastic passages of play, one in which ended up in a Treadray goal, Chris. But when you look at the names here, Hardwick to Wanganeen, they just meshed beautifully.
I thought their leadership group was fantastic early. Chad Corns, as we've seen all year and in last year as well, just worked so hard at centre half forward. In the air on the deck, his second efforts are tremendous. And they were all over the Crows early. Nick Stevens was tremendous, being tagged by Tyson Stengline. Got 7 touches in that first quarter and used every one of them with great skill, as we know he does, and he was an important player early. Got shut down in the second quarter, as did most of Port Adelaide's engine room.
Well, Roger James was white hot early in the game, collecting 13 touches in the opening term. but only 16 to half-time, Craig, just 3 in that second quarter.
He was red hot in that first quarter, and I'm not even sure who was playing on him. He was at 3. And obviously Gary Ayres, well, he's decided to man him up, and 3 touches in that second quarter. Well, that's a great effort by the Crows, and it showed on the scoreboard. They shut down their midfield, and it changed the game.
Inside 50s in that second term. We talked about wasted opportunities for Adelaide. It was 18-7 in the second term, Adelaide inside 50. Fortunately for Port Adelaide, they only had a couple of chances, but they made them pay.
They certainly did. Kane Corns with a tough job on Andrew McLeod. He's developed so well as a tagger now, pushes forward, makes McLeod work both ends of the ground on that occasion, jumping 30 out from goal, finishing off. He's kicked a few goals this year, really developing his craft nicely.
So it is half-time here at Amy Stadium. It's 7-2-44 Port Adelaide. The Adelaide Crows are 5-9-39. We are set for a cracking second half in Showdown 13. One other game of round 5 action on this evening. It is at the Telstra Dome in Melbourne between the Kangaroos and Carlton. Replays scheduled on some networks, so if you don't want to know the score, look away now. Half-time at Amy Stadium, 5 points the margin in favour of Port Adelaide. We'll be back with all the third quarter action right after this.
And all the pavements beckoning now.
Go! Kick the winning goal. Get your Foxtel from Telstra. Get it for less. Get it now. Call Telstra on 1-800-052-052 to find out how.
I was actually on the first plane that went in. You know, to go into another country that's been ravaged by war and devastation, it was definitely a life-changing experience. I had a team of 30 soldiers. Basically, it was my job to take control, make sure that the soldiers and the locals were safe. Undoubtedly, all my officer training really came to the forefront. You know, I didn't really think about it at the time, but it was a pretty full-on job for a 23-year-old.
Hey, Andrew, can I sign my collector's card album?
Sure thing, buddy. Great cover and protective sleeves. You want to swap it for a signed photograph?
No thanks.
Then what about a match football?
Nah, can I have my album back?
What about me Guernsey?
Don't miss your official AFL collector card album, free with a coupon from the Sunday Mail this weekend. Then collect a pack of 8 player cards every day for 50 cents with a coupon from the Advertiser or Sunday Mail.
I'll catch up with you. See you soon.
Pressed for time? Try KFC's new Grills Turkish with tender marinated chicken, salad, Swiss cheese and honey mustard sauce. It's deli-style food grilled to go. New Grills. Now good things come to those who can't wait.
Bay Letty's back to school sale is on. A huge 50% off all big brands at the clearance house. Yes, 50%. And 10% off everything on the floor. Don't miss out on a huge range of footwear, clothing, hardware and accessories. Bay Letty Sports. We know the game.
At Truscott Hi-Fi, every plug leads to a bargain. Like LG Duo DVD VCR combos, $100 off. Truscott Hi-Fi, Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
You spend 18 months doing officer training at RMC Duntroon. When you graduate, you take charge of your own team of soldiers. And when I did that, it's probably one of the best moments of my life.
The AFL Premiership Season 2003, brought to you by Carlton, brewed since 1864, and our telecast sponsors Carlton Draft, draft beer at its best. Ford, no boundaries. Discount City Carpet Superstores. Truscott Hi-Fi, best advice, low price. Booze Brothers. Sky City Adelaide, the place to see footy on the big screen. RAA Insurance, and Telstra.
Half-time at Amy Stadium. It's Port Adelaide leading by 5 points. We are set for a cracking third term. Capacity House in. And this game is not disappointing at the moment. It is a question of conversion. Which forward line can get on top in the second half? Set to go in the third term. Port by 5 points. They led by 18 at quarter time. And we get underway in quarter number 3. Clark got the hit out. Schofield, the first effective disposal. There's a little dish to Kane Corns. Off the back edge of the centre square. To centre half forward, looking for his brother Chad. Had to go the punch. Got it to ground. Byron Pickett, been quiet. Tries to get the 50. Great tackle from John Cock. Umpire says holding the ball. Just 2 touches to Byron Pickett to half-time, but we know he's an explosive player capable of cracking the game open.
Can make an impact. We've been very quiet. Graham Johncock had a great first half and starting the third quarter off very well.
And he'll get it again. The give and go from Bassett to Johncock. Around the outer wing. Has a man in front. It's Goodwin. And he steps up to position number 15. Bode and James lead the game with 16 apiece. Edwards has had 15 for Adelaide. Goodwin coming up for number 15 and Johncock 14. While for Port, James has had 16, 14 to Schofield, 13 to Peter Burgoyne. To the 50, Perry's up in front. Spills to the back, Burns has kicked 3. Wheels onto his favourite left boot from 30 metres out. And sprays that opportunity, missed it by a good 15 metres.
Well, Gavin Wangan, he gave chase there, and it was 2 very quick players. Ronnie Benz, he was almost running too fast to kick the ball. Crows have started well, they look good.
Dean Brogan with the footy. A change to the score, still 5 the difference across the face. Kane Corns, what a season he's having. He's had the biggest names in AFL. And he's got McLeod tonight, and he's doing very well. And he kicks to Stevens, who's averaging 30 possessions a game.
Gary Ayres moving Wayne Carey, bringing him back on the ground, putting him at centre half forward. Ronnie Burns, who was the dangerous Crows forward in the first quarter, now being picked up by Michael Woods.
There's the throw in. Brogan, Stevens in the thick of it, so is Cochrane. And there'll be a bounce. Let's head down boundary side to Troy Gray.
Well, it's still a beautiful night, guys. Has dropped a few degrees. A slight breeze has come up, if anything, helping the right of screen, the end of Port power kicking. Nothing too significant. Look at the scores. Are in for an absolute beauty again, boys.
In the attacking zone for Adelaide, Clark. Wilson, who's got Burns. High kick. Awkward for most. Carr had his eye on it. Pickley's got the footy close to the line. Just kept it in play, but only just. Now it's over. And the umpire to toss it in.
And conversely, up the other end, Byron Pickett, he's been shifted to full forward. He's in the square all alone with Benny Hart, looking for a one-out contest.
It's isolated Byron Pickett. Shredray stands at the 50 for Port Adelaide. And other than that, it is wide open if they get it out of this contest. They won't, though. Clark's got it. Gives it to Tawney. Carr's got a piece of him. Tawney threw it, said the umpire. And now they will break to that wide open forward line for Port Adelaide. Carr needs to move it quickly. He's got Corns on centre wing. Spots him now. Adelaide have drifted back in numbers to form that wall across half-back. Chad Corns goes short to James. He collects possession number 17. The lead from Treadray. He thought about it and thought better of it.
And once again, Port Adelaide, they do not want to bomb the ball long. James, he'll hang on to this and look for the pass. He's forced to go long now, so that's a win for Adelaide.
High kick. Pickett lurks at the back. Hart goes up at the front. That's his man drawn to the contest. Did well. Ben Hart's had a good night. And Pickett takes McGregor to the line. It's a change of role for Byron Pickett. Gone deep into attack. Kicked 40 goals last year for the Kangaroos. Reinvented himself as a dangerous forward. Out of the congestion, it comes to Chad Corns. Keeps it alive. Back towards the square. Chance here for Port Adelaide. Wakeland's there. So's Carey right on the goal line. Stands up and rides the Burgoyne bump. To Tawney, to Matner, and they run it out of defence. Bode flips it over the top. To Stengline, went straight to the voice, but the voice was Wanganeen. And he'll get the free kick. Ridden into the turf by Wayne Carey. And that look says it all.
Just can't settle, can he, Wayne Carey? Just cannot get his composure.
Wanganeen from 55 just pops it up to the square. There's tall timber and Wakeland. That's Carey's man. himself. His face was dirty before. Fortunately for him, it's a free kick. And it's gone from Smart to Bassett. Trots away from half-back to Johncock. Capable of the mercurial is Graham Johncock. He goes short to Clark, who just got away from Brogan. At half-back, looking for Goodwin. Hardwick will come from behind with good strong hands from Simon Goodwin. Jumped early. Hardwick couldn't quite get there.
Too good in the air, Simon Goodwin. Has got a very good leap, very good overhead. Continuing on his good form in this third quarter.
Adelaide midfield have just worked themselves into this contest, and there are some big numbers coming now for some of their gun midfielders. Brogan, been impressive. To Schofield. Goes looking for Corns. Bassett will come from behind. Got it to ground. Stenglein stood up in the tackle. Got boots a ball towards the 50. Clark will take it on the chest. Dropped it. Cochrane tries to come through, and Carey takes out his frustration on him. We'll have a bounce 55 metres out. And say no more about Wayne Carey. He is very frustrated at the moment.
Well, I congratulate Cochrane there trying to run through Wayne Carey. I don't think that's ever been done before. So
Former teammates.
I think he's going to learn pretty quickly. Perhaps he's got to dish off the handle.
The Power by 5. Busy area. Tawney gave it away. Stevens have copped it up here, Adelaide. And away goes James. About to have his 18th possession. He's had 3 or 4 bounces. This is a spectacular entrance inside the 50 for Port Adelaide by James. Oh, great mark, almost. No, Treadray. He was working hard. He had a couple to beat. Johncock gives it across to Mattner. Across the dangerous goal, the defensive goal, out to Hart. 44-39. Hart outside the defensive 50 now. Here's Bickley, former skipper, who thunders through half-back, now through the wing, onto the logo, and goes long. Inside the 50 towards centre-half forward, Perry, or in fact it was the King, couldn't mark, kicked forward by Port Adelaide, and into the pocket. And it's all Port Adelaide. They've got the numbers here, and they've got the space, and it's Carr along the boundary, now to the wing. And Schofield storming past the members, accelerating and bouncing, transports the footy about 25-30 metres, and then swings it inside 50 for Corns over his head. Bassett, Burgoyne, Johncock, Peter Burgoyne in there again. He overran the footy. Pickett working hard. And the pack develops, and the umpire bounces inside that attacking 50. And a record attendance of 51,140. Massive crowd, about 80-20, you reckon. 80% Crows supporters. Their side 5 points down.
Just see the difference in the two forward lines. The ball getting run out of the Crows forward line far too easily. Nothing in the air for the Crows, and not much at ground level inside 50. Port on the other hand with a couple of targets in Corns and Treadray, and the Mosquito fleet working the ball hard to keep it in their area.
This game's going to be won by the side who can convert their opportunities the better. Stenglein taken in a tackle. Peter Burgoyne has it. Tried to farm it out.
Throw.
Umpire said he threw it. So a chance for Adelaide to launch from their defensive 50. Both sides getting some service inside 50. It's just going to be whichever forward structure can click in this second half that'll win the game. Stenglein takes the mark in front of Brogan and Clark. 10th touch for Tyson Stenglein. Too close to the man on the mark. And Brogan smothers it over the line.
He's probably a bit unlucky not to get a 50 there, Stenglein, but he has worked particularly hard to get back into this game. First quarter, Stevens had plenty of the ball, but great effort. He's worked his way back into this game brilliantly.
Clark over the top. Deft tap to the front of the contest for Rashudo to run onto. Cochrane just hanging off him. And again, the ball's in the line.
He's a hot footy tonight. Hasn't been a lot of clean possession, especially as the second quarter wore on. The pressure is hot. The footy's hot. The game is in the balance.
Clark against Corns. Uses his size to his advantage, puts it at his feet. We'll have another bounce.
Andrew McLeod at the moment, he's been shifted up on the half-forward line. He's taken Kane Corns back with him, and you just can't help getting the feeling that 5 minutes of explosion from Andrew McLeod just might have a big impact on this game.
Stack of players around this contest again. Clark at the tap. Peter Burgoyne sharked it for Port Adelaide. Swings it inside 50. Adelaide with the numbers. And Bassett takes an uncontested chest mark. They break to the outer side. Edwards has got Smart over the top. Just has to get it to him. Hardwick comes across to try and get there, but won't get there in time. Smart looks further afield. Carey on a long searching lead. Wakeland by his shoulder as he has all night, but the Kings got it on this occasion. Turns quickly to half forward. It was a nothing kick. Nothing at all on. And Paxman, they play Russian roulette through the middle of the ground. It comes to Carr. He's got a man forward of the ball. It's James. And another one over the top, presenting himself in Chad Corns. James will go himself. Runs to 50. Chips it up towards the goal square for Corns to float back. And in the end, it was a nothing option. James didn't go himself. Didn't deliver it to Chad Corns. And in the end, a wasted chance.
Yeah, not good from Roger James. Had two open targets. Decided to go on his own. Too slow to move the ball on. A wasted opportunity there for Port Adelaide.
So Adelaide dodge a bullet. Ben Hart goes looking for Clark. Good effort from Cochrane. Another 1%er gets it to the line.
Still headaches for the Crows in their forward line. They need Mark Stevens on the ground. He's the competitor, the tall competitor that will hold the ball inside 50. His presence is being sorely missed at the moment.
Great effort there from Stuart Cochrane. Corns goes up, takes it out of the ruck. Fire opportunity rule this year. You are gone.
10 minutes gone of this third quarter and still no goals scored, so it's a bit of a deadlock at the moment.
Shoot over Bode. Bode from backward of centre wing. Goes looking for McGregor, a couple to beat again. And again, Paxman takes it to the line as Biglands replaces Matthew Clark. Such pressure all over the ground that when players, even when they are in open space, Chris, going forward, just aren't able to hit targets.
One-on-one duels have been fantastic all night.
6 the difference. Port Adelaide lead. Very busy area again at half forward, this time for the Crows. And another bounce. There's Rashuto. Goodwin. High kick, inside 50, not quite, about 60 out. Here's Bickley now. Bickley from about 60. Sends it downfield looking for Perry. It's coming all the way back. And it'll go to Kenny McGregor. Paxman to stand the mark. So Adelaide with a real opportunity here.
10 inside 50s this quarter, Mark. 7-3 in favour of Port Adelaide. Just 3 possessions for the forwards inside 50.
McGregor inside 50 to about 25-30. Kick out by Port Adelaide. John Cock chasing. Peter Burgoyne in front. What a great battle. James to assist. McLeod is there as well. James does magnificently. He's got Stevens with the hand pass, and Stevens decides to swing it low. It was a beautiful kick, wasn't it? It was like a laser beam. And Treadray's got a man out wide, and it's Josh Carr. And Carr runs to 70. He runs to 60. He runs to 55, and he chips it short. And Corns is marked. Good football, Port Adelaide.
Much better use of the footy that time from Port Adelaide. Josh Carr with the patience, the poise, and the skill to hit his target. The target was Chad Corns. And Port Adelaide have gone nearly 25 minutes without scoring a goal. This is a big kick.
Kicked 6 so far this year. Chad Corns, 45 metres from goal, and puts it through. Breathing space for Port.
Falcon, Wheels Car of the Year. Can't get enough of this.
Too easy out of the Crows forward line. Gary Ayres still with some headaches with that forward line structure. The power defence on top.
Port Adelaide back out to 12 points. Seems a fair-sized lead in the context of this struggle at the moment. Nick Stevens taken down in a tackle. We'll have another bounce.
And 2 terrific tagging efforts in this game. Stenglein is doing a terrific job on Stevens after the first quarter, and Kane Corns, he's doing a terrific job on McLeod as well.
There's been 12 inside 50s for the term. As I mentioned, only 4 possessions by any forward on the ground out of those 12 inside 50s. So the defences are well and truly on top at the moment. Oh! Down goes Bassett. sat down. He is down and out. And the ball goes inside 50 meantime and finds Treadray. That was a fearful collision. Play may well have to be stopped here for a stretcher. Sean Burgoyne under the chin. Nathan Bassett in a world of hurt.
A football collision. No malice in that. Both players. That is a pure football collision. Nothing wrong with that. Unfortunately, Nathan Bassett gets hurt and no one likes to see it. But Sean Burgoyne did everything right. Arms down, elbow down. A beautiful bump up the front.
It's just where he got him, wasn't it? He got him flush, square on the chin, Craig, just under the jaw.
He certainly did, and for 20 years of age, he's a strong lad. He's got a terrific build on him, and
what a time for it to happen, though. I mean, it's a pivotal part of the game, halfway through the third quarter. Anybody's game. Maybe Port with a little bit of momentum. Nathan Bassett just looks up at the wrong time. But a football collision.
Burgoyne just emerged from behind Matner there, so he was almost covered, I guess, out of the line of sight of Nathan Bassett. He just appeared at the last moment.
Interesting to see how the kid recovers now. I mean, he certainly won't be feeling great about that collision. He's got to focus back now on the footy. Jared Schofield gets to him, his teammates get around him, congratulating on standing his ground. He is now going to focus back on the footy. He's an important player for Port Adelaide, needs to still make an impact and not be put off by what's just happened.
Been a bit of push and shove. Let's hope he's all right, because you don't like to see this happen to anyone. But Warren Treadray now, he's got a shot at goal here, and it's a really important shot for goal. If he can kick a goal here, well, it's just going to give Port that burst of confidence they need. But let's hope this young lad's okay.
Two sides have gone into their respective huddles just to collect their thoughts. There's be another couple of minutes of delay yet, while they take every possible precaution with Nathan Bassett.
Mark Stevens will be the player to come on.
It's interesting, there'll be a bit of heat in the kitchen after that, you would expect, Chris. And Byron Pickett was actually trotting to the interchange bench. He got 3/4 of the way there. The runner came out and said, Byron, you stay on.
Yeah, well, important next 5 or 10 minutes. You can expect there to be a square up at some stage. The game started at a ferocious pace. Mark Rasciuto making a physical impact in the first 5-10 minutes of this game of footy. Not much sense until that collision. We knew it was going to happen at some stage.
So a real hush come over Amy Stadium here. It's quite eerie. 51,500 fans. As you can see, all the trainers huddled around and over the top of Nathan Bassett. It's a crucial, pivotal game, part of this game, rather. Port by 12 points. Treadray with a shot for goal from about 35 metres out. As we head boundary side, here's Troy Gray.
Boys, the crowd calling for Sean Burgoyne's head, but look, sitting right here at ground level, I can agree with what you're saying. There was no malice intended there. He did have the arm tucked in, but try telling that to Mark Rasciuto in his charges. They're right around him, young Sean Burgoyne, right away, and they're pointing the fingers at him, and there's some verbal stoushing going on, but rest assured, he's not a dirty player. There wasn't much in it. I'll keep you updated as to Nathan Bassett in his condition, but at the moment, it's not looking very good. The crowd, as you said, hushed, but we have a record crowd, over 51,000 here, and we're shaped up for an absolute beauty. And at ground level, the ferocity of that first quarter, it died off a bit in the second. Rest assured, we'll see nothing but flood out from both sides from here in.
Mark Bickley will return to the field, replacing Jason Tawney.
Not a bad move.
So both coaches just restructuring. Mark Bickley back into the heat, you think, Chris?
To put it nicely, restructuring. I think there is an anticipated bit of heat going to come on this game for the next 5 or 10 minutes. So get the players involved that you know that can handle it. Mark Bickley, Mark Rasciuto, Byron Pickett. Certainly 3 players who love the physical part of this game.
Nathan Bassett being loaded onto the mobile stretcher. Has the neck brace on. That's a precautionary measure. Used at every opportunity just to make sure.
Put the hand on the head there, so good signs to see that he's moving. And he'll have a headache, that's for sure. There is none tougher than Nathan Bassett. Committed at the footy every time. And that's an unfortunate part of our game, but it's part of it. And as we said before, Sean Burgoyne, no malice there. Just a good football collision.
Having said that, the Adelaide Crows did take the opportunity, Craig, just to fire a couple of psychological shots at a young player.
Well, there's no doubt that's not going to go unmolested, that action. They'll be verbalising him, they'll be letting him know that there's a square up to come. It's just part of the game. They'll be in his head and trying to psych him out. So if that doesn't lift the Crows, then I don't know what will at this stage, because at the moment, 17-minute mark, we've had 1 goal scored for the quarter, and this shot for goal with Warren Treadray is a vital one.
Takes the heat out of it, doesn't it? Treadray kicks this goal, it takes the heat out of it completely. It gives the momentum to Port Adelaide. If he misses,
different story. Big kick. So here's Treadrake, the acting captain tonight. He's kicked one. 8th touch coming up. What a kick. Yeah. And there it is. What sort of impact will that have on this game? Treadrake sprays the kick. It's a behind. You heard the crowd's reaction, and that will make the Adelaide Crows just walk a little bit taller. The margin now 13 points.
Well, unfortunately, good players have got to kick those goals. That is part of Warren Treadrake's game. He needs to improve.
Hart goes for the throat, attack straight up the middle. Brogan stood tall, will get a free kick, got one over the shoulder.
And a terrific mark there from Brogan. He had Simon Goodwin. If that ball had spilled out, Goodwin was going to get it. But as it stands, Schofield into attack.
Pump it long, pick it one out with Hart. They free their arms and Hart will rush it through, and they'll do it all again. This has been an arm wrestle since half-time. We expect the next 5 minutes of this contest could shape the remainder of the evening. Hart again goes long. Port Adelaide have to stand tall. Perry takes the mark to Rashudo. Get the feeling the Crows are sensing the moment. Goes looking for Carey and Wakeland. McGregor lost his feet. And Paxman takes it to the line. Umpire says deliberate. Opportunity for the Crows. Carey picks it up quickly. It's a wide open forward line. He goes to McGregor inside 50. Paxman a beat, got one hand to it, couldn't quite bring it down. Paxman outside defensive 50. Hardwick flicks it to Wanganeen. He'll have a bounce. He'll take Carey on by foot. From the outside of the boot, just chips it to Schofield. He's in open space. Can have a couple of bounces. Runs to 65. Goes deep looking for Peter Burgoyne. John Cock read it well. Got back and saved the day for the Adelaide Crows. Excellent mark by John Cock, 53-39. He goes across the face. This will be awkward, although Adelaide do have the numbers. James outnumbered. McLeod is having a quiet one. Kane Corns doing an outstanding job. That was an outstanding kick. He gained 35 metres right along the boundary line, out of bounds in front of the members, in front of 51,000. 6 minutes to go until three-quarter time. There's Corns and Andrew McLeod. McLeod, a wonderful player, and Kane Corns is having a sensational year and a very, very good game. Rashudo just kept it in play to Bode. Cochrane now, he's got problems. Series of hand passes. Perry. Bickley was involved in all of that. Here's the Roo now. Rashudo, the captain for Adelaide, downfield, inside 50. Bit of pushing and shoving. McGregor might have been unlucky not to have got a free kick. And he's got the footy now. And the umpire comes over and says, "Oh, bounce." Inside 50 for Adelaide. Paxman, the last man up. No, it'll be McGregor. Paxman on top of the pack.
And you can just sense this crowd. They want an Adelaide goal. And if they are to get it, it will be game on, that's for sure.
There's the bounce. Biglands. Stengline surrounded. And the umpire wanders over and says, "Let's do it again."
Byron Pickett comes off, just hasn't worked up forward for Port, and Brendan Lade goes on to Benny Hart back at full forward.
Biglands. Still untidy. Here's Bode. Tried to get his kick away. Goodwin gets it back to Bode. Strong tackling by Hardwick. Loose ball, opportunity for Port Adelaide, and Wanganeen comes away with controlled haste and goes out wide to Paxman. Paxman from the back pocket, gives it across to Bishop. 53-39, Bishop downfield. Oh, spectacular over the top was Matner. Port Adelaide with the numbers at ground level. An opportunity for Carr, it did hurt. Carr runs to about 80, 70, 60, runs to 50 now. Carr inside 50, and he's found Burgoyne, and it's Peter. And Peter, well, he wanted to play on, but he goes back. Thought better of it. Matner taking a long, long time to get up.
And once again, the transference up the ground by the power, fantastic. They just have players who run and they are free and they're using the ball into the forward lines. Gavin Wanganeen, down back is fantastic. It looks like it's coming out easy, but trust me, he is a fantastic player and he picks the right option every time.
Peter Burgoyne with two. Let's ride it with him, and it's swinging back. It looks pretty good from where we sit. It's through, and Port Adelaide increased their lead.
When we first spoke on the phone, she was warm, friendly, she laughed at my jokes. It was a beautiful thing. We got along like a house on fire until...
Until what?
Until the house caught on fire. And I rang her to make an insurance claim. Hello, Trust? Whatever happened to trust? Trust, trust, trust.
Always look on the bright side of life.
short of ridden the storm. They lead by 20 points. Late stage of the third term. Brogan and Biglands down to Nick Stevens. Gets a kick away towards half forward. Edwards to cut it off for Adelaide. To Perry. Out wide looking for some McLeod magic. Further afield to McGregor. Couldn't gather the bouncing ball. And it's out of bounds for a throw in. Inside 50s for the term. 12-6 in favour of Port Adelaide. And the Power have added 2 goals. 3. Adelaide have not scored. Neither ruckman an effective tap. Laddams stood tall in the tackle. Bickley was taken high by Brogan. Advantage will be paid. Now the umpire will call it back. Bickley, 13th touch. Goes around the boundary line and finds Biglands. Spots an option. Thumps it long towards the goal square. Falling back with Stevens. It comes to Carey. Dribbles it towards the goal. Just across the face and through for a minor score. His first for the evening. And Adelaide moved to 5-10-40. Port Adelaide a 9-5-59. So despite one more scoring shot from the Adelaide Crows, they trail by 19 points.
Use of the footy in their forward movement, not good tonight. Biglands bombing on that occasion. Forward structure, not good.
Stevens spots a target in Matthew Bishop and finds him at defensive 25. That's what he's got in front of him. Cochrane offers the lead short. Bishop goes further afield. Brogan his target. Biglands from behind. Illegally worked him under the football, said the umpire. Free kick will come back to Dean Brogan, who in the absence of Matthew Primus has really stood up in the last couple of weeks.
He certainly has. He's very impressive, this young fellow, and with Matthew Primus out, if he can carry the load the next few weeks, it's all going to be good for him come finals time for the Power.
It's across the wing. Treadray's target. Just strong. Just forced Nigel Smart away from that contest and took the mark. 9th touch, 7 marks for Warren Treadray. Goes towards 50. Chad Corns his target. Read it beautifully off the boot. Perry just worked himself underneath it. And Corns takes the mark just inside 50, right on the boundary line.
Perry's gone to Chad Corns with Nathan Bassett being indisposed. Just getting caught looking at the footy. Lost his opponent. Chad Corns takes the mark.
Just outside 50, pops it up to the top of the goal square. Laid, worked off it by Hart. It comes to the back and Smart clowns the call. The ball's still alive. And now the umpire says, I'll come in and bounce it. It was touched. No mark paid.
Mark Williams, he's still going on the offence. Gavin Wanganeen, he's drifted down the forward lines to try and sneak a goal here. So Port Power certainly on the offence.
In the goal square, will Adelaide try to fist it through? Laid and Perry. Laid just with strength. That was the plan. Had a snap at goal. Ricochets off Carr, gives it to Wanganeen, run over the top of it. Bickley stood tall. With poise, found Laddams. Kicks for territory around the outer side. And finds the boundary line about 80 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal.
I think playing against Port Power last year, the one thing you did notice was their leg speed. Once the ball was turned over, they had the ability to really run the lines well. And tonight, that's what's causing problems for the Crows.
Peter Burgoyne receiving instructions on the bench. Brogan and Biglands. Spills to the back of the congestion. It's picked up by Goodwin. Goes looking for Carey. Wakeland body to body with him. Brought it to ground for Wilson to gather. Gave a handball to Wanganeen. Wanganeen to centre half forward. Rashudo will go back with courage and stand underneath it and take a wonderful mark. They break wide. Carey looks up. Has got Goodwin, who can go the journey from 50 on that left boot. Trots to 48. Lines it up. He puts it across the face. He misses everything in the end. The body pressure came. Looking for a free kick after he disposed it. Umpire had none of it as Michael Walsham collided. But it's still in the danger zone for the Adelaide Crows. Biglan's got the tap. Brogan the secondary tap. Towards Stevenson half back. And Port Adelaide can come away from defensive 50.
Yes, from half-back, Stevens downfield, in front of Corns, tries to gather, hip and shoulder by Bickley, held him up, back it goes to Bickley, McLeod involved in all of that as well, an opportunity for Perry, umpire says play it on downfield, Burns, who's already kicked 3, Burns inside 50, he's got a chance here for 4, swings around, decides to go by hand, Tyson Edwards, and Tyson Edwards kicks a goal. Here come Adelaide late in the quarter.
Moment. All right. I'll catch up with you.
See you soon.
Pressed for time? Try KFC's new Grills Turkish with tender marinated chicken, salad, Swiss cheese and honey mustard sauce. It's deli-style food grilled to go. New Grills. Now good things come to those who can't wait.
Tyson Edwards has kicked 8 straight goals in season 2003, and the margin back to 13 points. I've got the feeling once Port were reeled in by Adelaide after kicking the first 3 goals of the game, this one was always going to go down to the wire, and so it appears as the clock winds its way down to three-quarter time. It will be Port Adelaide going to the final change with a 13-point advantage. They are 9-5-59. The Adelaide Crows are 6-10-46. Port adding 2 goals, 3 in that term. The Adelaide Crows 1 goal, 1 late. Sean Burgoyne involved in a nasty collision mid-quarter there with Nathan Bassett. Bassett taken off on a stretcher. We'll check his condition shortly with Troy Gray. We're set for a cracking final term in Showdown 13. At the final change, it's Port Adelaide by 13 points.
Is Detective Sophie Marinkovic about to make the biggest mistake of her life?
What are you doing?
Following you home.
He could be Mr. Right, or he could be all wrong. Monday.
He just got off a plane from Amsterdam, the drug capital of the world.
They think guilty. She swears innocent.
50,000 tablets at $40 a pop.
So if Sophie's prepared to risk everything, this guy must be something else. So what has he got on her? All new White Collar Blue, Monday on 10.
They make me feel better sometimes because I look at my book of barcodes and sometimes when I'm feeling like adrift in the world and I don't really know my place or something's going wrong, I can look at the barcodes and I can think there's something that knows certainly what it's meant to do. It has one task and it gets that information across. It's really beautiful in a way. They're quite the most delightful things. They give me great comfort, I suppose, with their single mission in life.
Timber.
Where's the home for drills?
Where's the home to go to?
Save on your hardware bills.
Where?
Home Hardware. There's huge savings in our homemaker sale dog-a-log, like this leaf rake, $2.95, and this neat heat 3-in-1 bathroom heater, $64.95. The homemaker dog-a-log sale. Home Hardware.
Would you like a home loan that gives you the power to win? What about a home loan that gives you the power to pay off your debt faster? Visit a Power Home Finance store to find out the benefits of the Power Loan. The Power Loan is ideal for debt consolidation, investment properties and portfolios, accessing additional funds, and purchasing a new property. Drop into a Power Home Finance store at Westfield TTP or Marion, or phone 82327977 to find out how a Power Loan can help you.
Meet Janet. She bought a Simpson washing machine and dryer and suddenly found the time to develop a killer backhand. Next door, Teresa bought a Simpson dishwasher and now has time to discuss current affairs. Tanya bought a Simpson oven and she then had the time to get to know the new neighbour, Tim. Simpson's time-saving features give you more time for life. Simpson, time for life.
His ankle's back, his head up. Dad, everyone was
Thanks, Mum.
cheering. Yeah. Thanks, Mum.
Tell Mum thanks.
Thanks,
Mum.
With 10 pieces of their famous chicken, 4 crispy strips, lots of sides, and a Sara Lee Black Forest cake, KFC's Mum's Banquet is the best way to say,
thanks, Mum.
Paynham Home Furnishings and Leatherworld's stock clearance sale is now on. The widest selection, The biggest range. The lowest prices. We need to make room for new arrivals. No reasonable offer refused. Floor stock clearance sale now on at Paynham Home Furnishings and Leatherworld. Open 7 days.
Has been a bruising encounter, showdown 13 as we expected. Port Adelaide at the final change have the advantage. 13-point break, 9-5-59. Adelaide 6-10-46. Peter Burgoyne with 3 goals for Port, 2 to Sean and 3 to Ronnie Burns for the Adelaide Crows, who had it 1-1 late in that term. Port Adelaide adding 2 goals, 3 in what developed, gentlemen, into quite an arm wrestle in that third quarter.
Oh, great game of footy, wasn't it? I mean, we had physical collisions, we had plenty of the footy, we had the ball rebounding from end to end. The Crows forward line still in disarray. They can't buy a winner up there. Wayne Carey moved to centre half forward, but Daryl Wakeland has been superb all night. Copped his fair share in play and behind play. Carey extremely frustrated. Just struggling to make a real impact on this game of footy.
Did have 5 touches in that term, Craig.
Yeah, no, he is struggling, but look, the Crows, at the moment, the game just seems to be being played on the powers terms. You see Wayne Carey there, just getting a word from Gary Ayres, and a big quarter for him. He can stamp his authority early in this quarter.
Another game of round 5 action on this evening between the Kangaroos and Carlton at the Telstra Dome. If you don't know the score, look away now. Here's Troy Gray with Adelaide assistant Peter Curran.
Peter, very intense in there. What was the overall message to get the boys across the line?
Oh, look, I think they've just used the ball better than we have, and we've just looked at a few things that hopefully put in their minds to use the ball a bit better.
You've had a couple more scoring shots. Is there a problem with the forward line set up at the moment?
Oh, at this stage, we're trying to change. We'll try and go a little bit smaller and see what happens.
Time for the experienced campaigners in the Hearts, the Bickleys, the Carries to stand up.
Oh, well, this is where they earn their money.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
Set for a cracking final term. Wayne Carey stats to three-quarter time, 8 possessions, 3 marks. As I mentioned, he did get it 5 times in that third term. And the margin 13 points at the final change. We're ready for a ripping last quarter here in showdown 13. Andrew McLeod just the 1 touch in that term for 11 for the game. Yet to see his usual influence, averaging 25 touches in 2003 as we start the final term. Bickley and James in there. Carr comes crashing in. Secondary bounce.
Looks like Gary Ayres has just gone on the fact that the Crows will get enough footy inside 50. Andrew McLeod, Mark Prosciutto, Tyson Edwards, Ronnie Burns, Wayne Carey. It's the who's who of the Crows inside 50.
They're playing the huddle at centre half forward at Adelaide. Goodwin tried to get it to Stenglon. It was a bit hot. Stevens to Cochrane. Goes towards the Treadray Smart battle. They've gone one-on-one all evening. It's been most entertaining. This time the points go to Nigel Smart, to Gallagher. Sold him a pup. He's been wrapped up by Treadray. Umpire says held to him. And a bounce forward 50 for Port.
Fantastic work there by Treadray. Locked him up. And the first goal in this quarter is going to go a long way into determining the result of this match.
It's a record crowd at Amy Stadium. 51,140. Out of bounds, throw in. James has 20 possessions for Port Adelaide. Bode and Goodwin have 20 for the Adelaide Crows. 19 to Edwards, 17 to Johncock. Of the Port, Schofield has 19. Peter Burgoyne 15 and Nick Stevens 15 as Smart sockers it in the middle of the ground. Brogan slipped over. Here comes McLeod, just swoops in. Handball to Hart, straight up the middle. But reading it better off the boot was Wakeland. And left Carey behind to take the mark uncontested, 10 metres in front of him. Chips it over the top and finds Wilson at defensive 50.
And once again we see Wakeland, he's prepared to leave his man and go and assist his teammate. And time after time he's marked that ball and just repelled every Crow attack.
Wilson's first game since round 11, 2001. His 9th possession. Goes long to the wing. Chad Corns with a couple to beat, but has support at ground level in the form of Josh Carr. Kicks around his body. Treadray and Smart. Gallagher provides the support at the back for Adelaide. Handball to Nigel Smart, linked up well to Goodwin. Back to Gallagher. They work it round the outer wing. Goes looking for McLeod. Had the vertical leap but couldn't hang on. Hardwick taken down by McLeod. Milked the free kick beautifully there, I think. see it on the replay. Hardwick through the head back.
Picked it beautifully, Jace. Real professional free kick through the head back.
Knew the contact was coming. Made sure the umpire saw it. And Hardwick goes around the outer wing. Treadray and Smart go at it again. This time it's Treadray who wins the football. Has James outside him. Tried to stand in the tackle. Dishes to James now. He runs to 65. Goes looking for Peter Burgoyne. It clears them. Goes to the back. Hits the behind post for a throw in.
And Port Adelaide, they've got the Burgoyne brothers coming out of the goal square. They are as quick as lightning, so any ball coming in is a real danger.
13 the difference. Mark Williams. Here's the throw in, right forward pocket for Port Adelaide. Dangerous, that was a bit hard, it was, and Bickley's had to cop an earache and a free kick. So Mark Bickley, former captain of Adelaide, dual premiership captain, out wide. Clark out there, Stengline over the line.
Just haven't been able to get their game flowing tonight, the Crows. The power have shut them down. Mark Bickley on that occasion, just copping one a little bit high.
Guerra.
Headache first, free kick second.
The infringer. Clark and Brogan. Clark works his way to the front. Tries to win it down to someone for Adelaide. Bickley overran it. Clark gets it back. Stengline with a clever hand pass and Goodwin around the corner. 59-46. Here's a battle. Wanganeen. In the end, there was no battle against Edwards. And Wanganeen on his chest cleverly from the logo. Kicks to centre half forward and storming up the ground straight and strong is Treadray. So Treadray goes right back to about 80. Warren Treadray, who's back after 2 weeks on the sidelines. Chad Corns pleading for it. He goes short. Well, it hasn't come off, although they've still got a chance here, Port Adelaide, as Wilson runs onto the footy, and then Wilson squares it right in front of goal. Perry just plucking it out of the air and able to take a strong grab, and a grab that needed to be taken. Hart, that was dangerous. Hart swings now with a hand pass. It's a bit awkward, it's ugly, but it's effective at the moment as Perry got it from Clark. Burns through his hands. Rashudo tries to crash his way through the pack. Gallagher, hand pass to Hart. Now that's hot because Wilson's there at 100 mile an hour, right on the logo. Stevens, they've coughed it up. Had a chance to get it back there, Stevens, but in the end it's Schofield, held up in a tackle. Now Guerra, casually, kicks to about 35 to a contest. Here's an opportunity for Treadray. Just gets away from Goodwin, gives it to Corns, and Corns swings around and it bounces. It bounces through for a behind.
Super impressed with Warren Treadray's work rate. He's a big man. Nigel Smart, you'd think, would be able to run off him more often. But Treadray, it's a fourth quarter and he's still running hard.
Frustration for Adelaide. Getting plenty of the football, but just not being able to get it forward. Just the one inside 50 for the term so far. Hart. Scrubby kick around the wing. Burns makes it good. Turns, can flip it inside to Bode. Bode's got Smart up the middle, didn't spot him. Goes inside 50. Rashudo pushes back. Slapped clear by Wilson. Clean Corns there as well. Another throw in.
It's the gamble Gary Ayres has taken. Put all his good players, McLeod, Burns, Edwards, Bode, Rashudo inside 50. They've just got to get the ball there.
Clark over the back. There's Corns and McLeod. Cochrane in there as well. Rashudo comes through. Flips it over the top into the path of Burns. Carr's got a piece of him and takes him down. Wanganeen got the hands free to Paxman. Hardwick and Stevens. Hardwick looks up, there's nothing to kick it to, so goes to the runner Stevens, who's now faced with the same dilemma. Cochrane broke for him though. Gave him something to go to. Goes to centre half forward. Peter Burgoyne tried to work his man under it and did so successfully. Got the free kick. Same tactic Sean Burgoyne used on the outer wing in the third term. Holton calls for it at the 50. Peter goes to Shaw, has to take it on the half volley. Gallagher to Ben Hart, to the run of Johncock. Has to kick it high. Brogan will camp underneath this. Goes back and takes it in the hands. Has been good. 10th possession, 6 mark for Dean Brogan.
There's no doubt there's a lot of tired players out there at the moment, and both sides have had good opportunities to score, but just poor skill errors letting them down at the moment.
Neither side effectively running the lines as we speak. Fatigue setting in. Treadray and Smart. They go again. Nil all draw on this occasion. Burgoyne tried to emerge with the football. Comes to Josh Carr. Dribbles it into the path of Chad Corns, who realises he's not going to get there. As the Crows change ruckman, Bigland's on, Clark off. Port Adelaide by 14 points. It's been a physical contest. Port Adelaide led the tackle count for most of the evening. Carr towards Chad Corns. What can he create here? Perry, with the perfect defensive tackle, wrapped it up. Made sure that ball did not get free.
And Port Power, look, with their big guns out, Primus and Franco, if they come through this next period of 4 to 5 weeks, it's going to put them in good stead for the premiership because they're learning to live without their big guns.
Here's Corns. Port Adelaide lead by 14. They lead by 20. What a goal by Corns!
To me, it's what respect you get when you've got 3 Carlton drafts in your hand. Not surprising, really. Lovely stuff. As fresh as a beer can get. Watch this. A lot of people wonder how Moses parted the Red Sea. It's 3 Carlton drafts. Nothing to do with his staff. Had that under his arm. Forgot the nuts. Brewery Fresh Carlton Draft. Draft beer at its best.
Kicks the big goal. Gives Port momentum. So Corns has kicked his second. Wide open forward 50 for Port Adelaide. They're all huddled in the goal square and then no one at all beyond about 20 metres out from goal. Brogan got the tap. That leaves it wide open if they can get it out of the middle and stream forward, but Adelaide will. No, Gallagher gave it up. Burgoyne, there's the space we were talking about. He can run to 50 and there's plenty of room for everyone to lead into. And Sean Burgoyne makes the most of it.
And that was all class. He waited and waited for his team. Knew he had the handle on. But in the end, he said, no, I think I'll just sack that and turn, put on the afterburners. And these two could be like the Cracker brothers.
It's an interesting setup out of the opening bounce. They left it wide open across centre-half forward, Craig, and that just creates the space.
Well, when you are in at the centre bounce, one thing that does unsettle you is when you look at your back line and there is no one on that on the square line. It's just all open, so you know if the ball comes out and it gets over your head, the midfielders are just going to run onto it and kick a goal. And at the moment, that setup's been allowed to happen time and time again.
So Sean Burgoyne has kicked 2. He's kicked 14 goals, 7 for the season. He's a deadly finisher. 38-18 in his career. He likes it off the boot. Goal umpire comes across. But it was never in doubt. And Sean...
Discount City Carpets, your one-stop flooring shop, guarantees Adelaide's lowest prices on its massive range of carpets, timber flooring, rugs and vinyls. No matter what price you get elsewhere, Discount City Carpets will beat it, guaranteed. You must see the latest release of ceramic tiles, the Builder's Choice, a stunning range of 14 styles of floor tiles in today's subtle colours. The Builder's Choice range at Builder's Prices. Discount City Carpets. Superstores and Super Warehouse, guaranteeing the lowest prices.
They change the structure again this time. They now put Chad Corns about 45 metres out from goal with everyone else in the huddle. So Mark Williams giving Gary Ayres plenty to think about up forward for Port Adelaide.
26 points is the lead to Port Adelaide. 26 points. And Biglands gets it to McLeod, and McLeod out of the middle. So Adelaide inside 50. Wanganeen takes a very strong and courageous mark. At halfback, changes direction. Comes to Brogan, 72-46. Brogan at half-back. He's on the flank on this western side of Amy Stadium. Downfield, pinpoint accuracy to Thurstons, who's now backward of the wing. So Port Adelaide with possession, gradually working it forward, chipping it downfield. And he's got Kane Corns. What a night he's had. He's done so well against Andrew McLeod. He's made him look ordinary, to be fair. Chad Corns misses the mark. It's out of bounds.
And look, this is why Andrew McLeod is an absolute champion. He's having a hard night tonight. Kane Corns is all over him, but Andrew McLeod, he has not got frustrated. He's just kept working away. And look, it might not be happening tonight, but you know it's going to happen for him.
72-46, Port Adelaide with a very handy buffer. Peter Burgoyne to Carr, swings it round. Has it come round far enough? No, it hasn't. It's out of bounds at half forward for Port Adelaide.
Bode flips it over the top to Goodwin. Adelaide needing a goal. Smart breaks for him. A great duel between he and Treadray. To Matner. He pushes forward and goes inside 50. Carey at the back with Wakeland. Boundary line wins.
Just had the better of it in the Crows attacking 50. Darryl Wakeland, Gavin Wanganeen, Stephen Paxman. Just having far the better of their opponents tonight.
8 possessions, 3 marks for Wayne Carey. Brogan and Biglands lock arms. Hardwick tapped it to Brogan. Tried to put it into the run of Stevens. Rashudo got across, but Stevens will get there eventually. Can have a bounce around the outer wing. Set it up. Wait for a target to present itself. Was looking for Sean Burgoyne. It was an ambitious kick. Goodwin did well. Gets it going back the other way for Adelaide. Bickley pressured towards the line. Brought it inboard to Matner. Matner to Johncock. Adelaide through the middle of the ground. Gallagher. Perry comes late. Takes the mark. Has to play on. Goes inside 50. Floating across the back of the contest was Biglands. No body contact on him. And he has the chance to go back from 40 metres out. Kick a desperately needed goal for the Adelaide Crows.
Still plenty of time left in this game, over 10 minutes on the clock. Biglands needs to kick this goal. The Crows need consecutive goals. They need their leadership group, Rashudo, McLeod, Goodwin, Edwards, to stand up and get hold of some footy. Big kick for Rhett.
First mark inside 50 for the half for Adelaide. And Biglands tugs it left for a behind.
And when you're out there and you need a goal badly and it goes through from behind, it just does deflate you as a side. There's no questioning that. And the Adelaide boys right at the moment, we just start to be thinking maybe it's not our night.
Paxman in the kicking in duties. The margin now 25 points, under 10 minutes remaining. Adelaide needs something special. Paxman towards the boundary line. Adelaide defend, keep it inside their forward 50 so they can load up and go again. 25 points the margin. Plenty of players around this one at the forward 50 for the Crows. Need to create something from this stoppage. They've been so good at it in the last couple of years. The clearances tonight, 27-25 in favour of Port. Biglands almost made something there. Corns taken down in a tackle. And again, Port Adelaide win it from the stoppage. Carr to Corns. They run hard through the middle. It's James. Could be a dangerous kick. Cochran couldn't get there. Perry. Wilson taken down. No chance to get rid of it. They'll have a bounce in the middle of the ground.
He's too good in the clinches all night tonight, Port. Stronger at the footy, cleaner with their hands.
Adelaide's lowest score against Port Adelaide. 8-16 in round 4, way back in 1998. There's the bounce. Adelaide inside their attacking 50 now. They certainly need a mark. Bode tried to knock it to Tyson Edwards. Tyson Edwards gets some space and has a shot on goal. And what's he done? He's kicked a goal! With 9 minutes to go, Edwards gets his second.
You know, I reckon you can tell it's the most powerful ute they've ever made just by looking at it. Yeah. We should take him for a run on the Salt Lake.
The new 260 kilowatt Falcon Ute. It's unbelievably powerful.
So the Crows breathe some life back into this contest. The margin back to 19 points. Just under 9 minutes remaining. Plenty of time. Brogan the tap. Peter Burgoyne. Taken in a tackle. Umpire said you had a chance to get rid of it holding the ball. The ball comes back to Gallagher. 11th touch for James Gallagher. Adelaide need another one to get excited. Inside 50, Edwards flies high. Off the hands of Smart. Hard in there as well. Carr on top of it. We'll have a bounce. An interesting Warren Treadray to the bench, but a crucial part of the game, Chris. It is his first game back after a spell. Has covered a lot of territory.
Very unusual and a brave move, unless there's something wrong with him. But you want your good players on the ground at the moment, especially a player who can take a contested mark inside 50.
Seems content enough. They're not working on him, so maybe it is just fatigue. James in a tackle. Rashudo got it out to Bickley. Bickley can load up from just on 50. It's right to the line. It's a goal! Bickley's got another one.
His ankle's back, his head up. Thanks, Mum.
Yeah. Thanks, Mum.
Come on, thanks.
Thanks,
Mum.
With 10 pieces of their famous chicken, 4 crispy strips, lots of sides, and a Sara Lee Black Forest cake, KFC's Mum's Banquet is the best way to say, thanks, Mum.
I said 3 or 4 minutes ago that Adelaide needed something special. They've got it in the form of 2 quick goals, and it's back to 13 points of difference. Approaching time on in the final term, but still plenty of time.
11-6, plays over 11. And just under 8 minutes remaining until the completion of this game. Matner had his problems. McLeod, Burgoyne, got it across to Wanganeen. James, he's got to get rid of it quickly. Corns held up, umpire comes over and he's going to bounce.
There's some big contests to be won now.
Absolutely, and the leadership group for the Crows are the ones that have stood up in the last couple of minutes. Edwards, Mashudo, Gallagher getting some footy. They need McLeod, they need something special from McLeod.
72-59. About 7.5 minutes remaining. Burgoyne right over the top of the footy. And another bounce.
Mentioned James Gallagher. He's had 6 touches for the quarter to lead the way for Adelaide. For Port Adelaide, Josh Carr has had 6. Brogan's had 4. Goodwin and McLeod also getting busy for the Crows with 4 apiece.
Busy area again. Brogan and Biglands. Wilson in there. Just got a toe poke to James. It was enough. Cochrane. Short one. McLeod quickly onto the boot. Over the head of most. Hart's about to attack it over his head though. Burns. Cleverly done. Cleverly done across to Gallagher. Gallagher 85 from goal, goes short. He's got a boy inside 50. And it is Tyson Edwards. And Edwards will go back. No, he's going to go from 50 and he's going to go laterally. And it is John Cock. And John Cock will go back about 45 metres from goal, pretty well directly in front.
Great thing with James Gallagher, he hits targets. Doesn't need to get hold of the footy a lot of the time, although he's hot at the moment. But he hits targets. He gives the ball to his teammate. It's ended up with Graham Johncock, who is traditionally a very, very good kick for goal. Gary Ayres be pretty happy to have the ball in his hands.
This to cut the margin to 7. Here's Johncock, 6 minutes remaining. Kick on its way, looks pretty good. Dead-eye Dick! And the margin is 7.
The 15.5-minute mark, it was 19 points the ball game. Suddenly, it's 7. 3 goals to the Adelaide Crows. And this game is alive. Showdown 13. Port Adelaide need a goal. It's socked off the ground by James, and it finds Chad Corns 55 metres out.
Fantastic mark by Corns here. Playing in front, quick kick out of the centre bounce, and he gets rewarded. And I wouldn't say this is out of his reach, this kick.
3 goals in 6 minutes to the Adelaide Crows. Saw them come in from 25 points to 7. This to extend it back out to 13 from Chad Corns. 60 metres out. Launches it with everything he's got. It's not going to quite get there. Danger. Off hands. Throw in alongside the behind post.
Stays in the danger zone though. Puts in for the power. The ball's near the point post in the danger zone. This is where they missed Josh Franco. This is where he was special around goals. Who can stand up?
Mark Williams' face says it all. Great deal of concern in the Port coaching box. James tries to get to his feet. Perry wraps him up. We'll have another bounce 20 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal.
And Byron Pickett, he is circling very eagerly at the moment. This is just about the time where he can do something special.
It's time for a bit of individual brilliance. Make another showdown hero. Gallagher been important in this final term. Breaks for Adelaide. Matner has got Polton a beat. Here's Treadway back onto the ground. Up and under kick. They'll contest 20 metres out from Port's goal. Corns was nowhere in that contest was third man up. We speak of individual brilliance. They give you Chad Corns.
Oh, look, it was sensational. I mean, the cry of Corns has been heard throughout South Australia for many, many years in very similar situations. And Chad Corns takes the big contested mark. That's what the Crows haven't had all night. A big man to stand up and take the big catch. Chad Corns does it. Now he has to finish.
He's come to the plate in the final turn. History's third. Keeps it low. Puts it through.
She's the mother-in-law anyone would kill.
She was suicidal. She makes other people suicidal.
This case should be easy, but Detective Gorin is about to make one fatal error. All new Criminal Intent, 8:30 Tuesday.
Are you ready, Troy?
I'm ready.
Good. Now we can watch the panel.
The Panel, 9:30 Wednesday.
A goal to the power.
13 points is the lead. What a spectacular mark by Corns and finishing it off superbly. Back out to 13 points. Williams on the phone. Ball bounced in the middle. Brogan. Oh, Peter Burgoyne gathered nicely and then got caught twice. Still got the hand pass away. Schofield, high kick down toward left half forward. John Cock, awkward bounce for him. Stevens was there. Andrew McLeod's there as well. Gets it across to Ken McGregor. And McGregor goes downfield looking for Burns. A spectacular mark. Spectacular mark by Burns. Swings it to a more central location onto the wing. A chance now for Bickley. Bickley 85 from goal. Spears it in. And the mark is taken by Rashudo with 3.5 minutes remaining. And the margin is 13. Rashudo thought about it. Goes back. 60 from goal.
Port Adelaide getting back in numbers, just trying to plug it up back there. No easy leads.
He's got to be composed, Rashudo. Hit a target or hit the hot spot.
There's his kick. And Rashudo kicks to the front of the goal square. Adelaide need a mark. Carey at the back. Can't mark. It's forced through for a behind. Anticlimactic margin. 12 points.
In the tail all night, though, the Crows no tall timber inside 50. Have not been able to buy a contested mark. Mark Stevens a quiet night. Wayne Carey and Perry the same. The power defence on top, holding strong.
Worked very hard that time, Wayne Carey. Led all the way out to the 50, doubled back, got back to make that contest, but couldn't take the mark. Wanganeen has it. No one on the mark at all.
Gavin Wanganeen there. He could have played on, but he said, no, I'm just trying to shut the gate here. I'm going to take my time and try and milk the clock.
Hangs on to it, defensive 20. Now forced to kick. Looks for Brogan, and he hasn't stood up tonight and taken some marks. 14th possession, 8 marks to Dean Brogan. And he's been most impressive.
Well, he's done a lot of the hard work. He's got down in defence, and he's blocked the hole in front of Wayne Carey many a time.
There's a blood rule. Stephen Paxman, you can see there, leading from the forward. He comes to the boundary line. Just under 2.5 minutes remaining. 8 possessions, 3 marks to Wayne Carey. Wakeland, his opponent, has had 10 possessions and 8 marks.
Been solid all night, hasn't he? From the first contest, plenty happening off the ball early between Carey and Wakeland, but Wakeland stood tall. Carey's got frustrated. Wakeland's been a very, very good player all night.
Josh Carr back into the fray, replacing Paxman. The ball's with Brogan at defensive 60. Clock restarts. Port Adelaide are just over 2 minutes away from their 6th consecutive showdown win. This man, Chad Corns, has stood up in the last term. Adelaide have thrown everything at them. There's still 2 minutes remaining, but they desperately need a turnover. It's a wide open forward line for Adelaide. No one at all inside 60 metres. So the Crows getting numbers behind the ball to try and force a turnover and then run it forward. Corns will go long to 50. McGregor there for Adelaide. They need to get their hands on the ball. Schofield gives it up. Stengline taken from behind by Trent Ray. Umpire said in the back. Adelaide need to move it and move it now. They've got 1.5 minutes to kick 2 goals and tie this game. Bode. Stevens almost. Goodwin to Bickley. They must be direct. Bickley goes long. Rashudo win early. Almost a spectacular grab from Brogan. Perry thunders into Schofield. We'll have another bounce just forward of the wing. Let's head to boundary side. Troy Gray. Come back to Troy shortly. Schofield crunched in that tackle by Perry. Paxman bandaged up. Keen to return to the action. A bounce. Biglands tried to palm it to Goodwin or Rashudo. Rashudo got it. Handball back to Bickley. Steps James. Goes to 50. Adelaide need a mark. Chad Corn's down there as well. Bishop harassed out of it. Sean Burgoyne tried to tap it to Stevens. Time ticking down. Carr comes away from Hart. Goes long towards Treadray and Smart. Ball at ground level. James regains the feet. Gains some more territory. Thurstons keeps it alive. Time for one more maybe for Port Adelaide to put the icing on the cake. Polton goes inside 50. Burgoyne will hang back. Polton taken in a tackle. Play on the call. Socket off the ground. Comes to 50. 6 seconds left. Schofield across the body. It's smothered. 2 seconds remaining on the clock. And Port Adelaide weather the storm to win their 6th consecutive showdown. 12-6-78. Adelaide 9-12-66. The Crows were gallant in that final term. They trailed by 25 points 14 minutes into the final quarter. They then kicked 3 goals in 6 minutes to get the margin back to 7 points before Chad Corn stepped up on the big showdown stage and iced the game for Port Adelaide.
He certainly did, and I think for those that can read lips, Mark Williams' words after the game said it all. That was a great win. Courage personified, tougher at the footy all night. They celebrate, and well they might. No Primus, no Franco, no Jew, no Montgomery. Treadray back in. A character-building win for Port Power. Big stage here at Footy Park, 51,000 people. That was fantastic.
Well, the man who stood up on the big stage in that final term was Chad Corns. He finished with 20 disposals, 11 marks and 3 goals, and he's downstairs with Troy Gray.
And so it was you that took it, mate. The big grab. You're an absolute legend when it comes to contested marks, and you've turned it on for us.
I don't know, mate. I thought probably Dean Brogan and a couple of backline plays there really saved the game for us there. Under assault there, so it's good to take that grab and kick the goal, but it's just a really good team effort there.
Now, the Corns name in South Australia, your father was the inaugural coach of the Adelaide Crows. This has got a fair bit of, about family involvement when you're talking Crows and power. Your dad, he'd be proud of you today, but which side does he support?
Oh, mate, I think he's still on the Crows, but he just hopes me and Kane play well, so we both did that today. And there's nothing better than beating the Crows in front of their home crowd, so we're just pumped.
Tell me what it's like to play in such a huge game. They compare it to finals games. Can you concur with that? Like, it's huge?
It's probably even bigger than some finals. It's just great. The crowd you get here, record crowd, so it's great that everyone came out, and there's nothing better than playing him.
And, mate, I saw you absolutely rev up when you kicked the match winner. How did it feel to be the guy that they all stood up and cheered for?
Oh, mate, yeah. It was good. It was a good feeling to take a grab like that and kick the goal, so I was just so happy we won.
Congratulations, mate. Thanks for that.
So Chad Corns confirms his status as one of the great up-and-coming young talents in this competition. And I say young, he's 23 years of age. He's played 81 games, Chris. Third in last year's best and fairest, and well on the way again this year.
Oh, look, there's an All-Australian honour awaiting this bloke. Just what he does on the deck as well as in the air, his second and third efforts. And to kick the big goal, take the big mark. I mean, we've forgotten his snapshot from the pocket when he plucked the ball out of the air at a ruck contest. He did the special thing. He stood up when they needed someone to stand up and win the game. Chad Corns was the man.
2 spectacular goals, Craig. Port Adelaide finished with 3-1 in that final term, and he kicked 2 of them.
Yeah, well, it's a good way to finish off the game. Plenty of run, and Mark Williams, we saw a shot of him earlier. He's pretty happy, and why wouldn't he be? His match committee, well, they've been under the pump with players missing, and as I said before, if they can get through the next month of football with a few wins, and they'll all of a sudden go into the finals with a few more weapons than they thought they had, basically. So, great win by the Power.
Great moment for Michael Wilson, his first game since round 11, 2001. What a great way to come back. Wasn't overawed tonight. Chris picked up the pace of the game well. He finished with 11 touches himself. Just slotted neatly back in like he'd never been away.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Had a real impact on the game tonight. And, well, Chad Corns is a happy man. I'm sure Michael Wilson is even happier. Slots back into that lineup beautifully. And there's a lot of improvement left in this team as well. Don't worry about that. They will get better. And while we're talking Chad Corns, you cannot ignore Kane Corns. He pretty well rendered Andrew McLeod ineffective for the whole night. McLeod hardly with a touch of any quality. And another scalp to Kane Corns. Maybe a West End medal to hang around his neck.
McLeod finishing with 17 possessions. He's averaging 25 a game in 2003, but probably the more telling step, Craig, was he's averaged 7 inside 50s a game this year, McLeod. Tonight, just 1. So the 17 touches he got were mostly back into the centre.
Well, they were under pressure, and that's what Mark Williams would have wanted Kane Corns to do. Any possessions that McLeod had, he wanted them under pressure, and it's a great effort. But to McLeod's credit, he kept working all night, and I thought Nick Stevens was the same. He had a great first quarter. Stenglon did a marvellous job on him for the rest of the game, but he just kept running, kept working, didn't get worried by it. And both those players, fantastic players.
It's an even contribution. We mentioned Nick Stevens at the start of the program. He finished with 18 possessions, which ranked him 6th on the list for Port Adelaide. So the 5 players out there tonight that had more of the football than Nick Stevens, that in itself, Chris, is a good sign.
You're right. You know, we said it in the pre-match, who was going to stand up if Stevens was kept quiet. Burgoyne, Schofield, James, Carr, all having influences on the game, all stepping up to fill the void. A very, very even performance from Port tonight. A great team win, character building, and I'm sure they will sing this club song with gusto.
Pete, when you're up the top on the far left, right? Alan Noss in front. Next on After the Game, we'll talk to the Melbourne High Flyer Russell Robertson. We'll also have the Fat Lady singing and Tool of the Week and much, much more. 45 days? No, probably not that.
Want to make big savings on your monthly mobile bill? You can with Telstra. Bring your mobile to Telstra now, and with our rewards packages, you can combine your mobile with your Telstra home phone and save 5% off most mobile calls. Package your mobile and home phone with your Big Punt Internet or Foxtel from Telstra, and you can save a big 10% off these calls. Money you can spend on other things. Call Telstra now to find out more.
I was actually on the first plane that went in. You know, to go into another country that's been ravaged by war and devastation, it was definitely a life-changing experience. I had a team of 30 soldiers. Basically, it was my job to take control, make sure that the soldiers and the locals were safe. Undoubtedly, all my officer training really came to the forefront. You know, I didn't really think about it at the time, but it was a pretty full-on job for a 23-year-old.
At Truscott Hi-Fi, every plug leads to a bargain. Like LG Duo DVD VCR combos, $100 off. Truscott Hi-Fi, Adelaide's lowest prices with up to 24 months interest-free terms.
Moment. All right. I'll catch up with you.
See you soon.
Pressed for time? Try KFC's new Grills Turkish with tender marinated chicken, salad, Swiss cheese and honey mustard sauce. It's deli-style food grilled to go. New Grills. Now good things come to those who can't wait.
Mate, what do you want with all that power? Well, imagine you come across a huge tanker hanging precariously over a cliff, carrying 30,000 litres of petrol. No, beer. Well, with the power of the V6 Hilux, you'd be able to haul that tanker to safety, no worries. And the truckie, she'd be forever in your debt.
Good point.
The new Hilux 4x4 V6.
Check this Lacornu package offer.
A sofa and another sofa, 4 big scatter cushions, a dining setting with 4 chairs and a matching coffee table. The lot, 12 pieces for only $999.
Love it.
You'll love it at Lacornu.
Uncle Toby's crunchy muesli bars now have grooves to break into new, crispier, bite-sized pieces. They're a seriously groovy munch.
They're looking at your general leadership, communication skills, tactical exercises, public speaking. There's a whole range that they focus on. There's times when it's daunting, but in the end it's a fantastic feeling.
A hero to cheer, a movie to love. You'll never forget Billy Elliot, Julie Walters and newcomer Jamie Bell in the film that makes your heart dance. The feel-good movie of the year. Billy Elliot premieres 8:30 Sunday.
Jubilation for Chad Corns and Port Adelaide. They win their 6th consecutive showdown, 12-6-78, defeating Adelaide 9-12-66. The final margin, 12 points, 3 goals to the Burgoyne brothers and Chad Corns. Ronnie Burns finished with 3 goals and a real positive for Adelaide. Marvellous performance from him in his 2nd game for the club. Well, it looked like Port had the business done. They led by 25 points, 14 minutes in the last quarter. Adelaide had other ideas. One man who had an enthralling contest all night with Nigel Smart was their acting captain, Warren Treadray, and he's down in the rooms with Troy Gray.
Well, an amazing amount of jubilation down here. They say that these showdowns are huge. Well, I'm down here amongst it and the emotion's just overflowing.
Yeah, I guess when you're competing for memberships with a club, you're competing for ticket sales, and you're getting the young people on board who love their footy. So these games mean a lot to both sides, and the group of guys that went out there tonight really gave everything, and I think that showed on the scoreboard.
And Warren, with Matthew Primus out of the side, acting captain, how does it feel to walk off leading your team to a victory like that?
It's always good when you win, but there are a number of guys missing tonight. Stuart Jew, we lost Josh Franco, who's unfortunately going to be with us the rest of the year, and Kingsley and Cogsy Collins. So we had a few guys out, but the group of guys who went out there tonight gave their all, and at the end you can probably see why the song sounds so loud. It's because the guys have got no energy left. So.
It certainly was loud. I needed no microphone. I think they could have heard it at the back of the stands, but as you were walking off, Coach Mark Williams, I've never seen a smile that big on his face, and he grabbed Chad Corns and embraced him and hugged him and high-fived all the lads as they came off. That's a great scene.
Oh, it is. Not many people see Mark Williams like that. They see a straight down, pretty serious coach, but we can obviously say that behind the scenes he's a very jovial character, and tonight comes out when you win like that.
And I suppose the big thing now is don't let this momentum stop. It was a huge game, so you want to continue this next week.
Oh, exactly right. We started off 0-2, and we've come back to 2-2, and tonight we've won. So we're 3-2, we're in the 8, and the guys are actually increasing and they're playing good footy, so we've got to continue next week against Richmond.
Congratulations, mate. Enjoy the celebrations. You deserve so.
Thanks, Troy.
Double celebration there for Warren Treadray, the acting captain, and also winner of this year's West End medal for the best player on the ground, Warren Treadray, finishing with 1 goal, 1. Well, wonderful game from Chad Corns. He stood up in that final term, gentlemen, when Adelaide came at them. We mentioned they kicked 3 goals in 6 minutes to get back into this contest. It was back to a goal. The difference in this game was wide open.
Oh, look, it was a special last quarter from Chad Corns. Tremendous goal there, just taking the ball, taking the game by the scruff of the neck. When you wanted somebody to stand up, it was Chad Corns. And this contested pack mark, something the Crows couldn't do all night. I mean, as they say, you pay your money to see a quarter like that.
It was a wonderful game of football, epitomised everything the showdowns were all about. Some news on Nathan Bassett. He does have concussion. He is under observation from the Adelaide medical crew. One other game of footy tonight, the Kangaroos and Carlton at the Telstra Dome. If you don't know the score, look away now. Plenty more action remaining in round 5 of AFL football going into Sunday. We've had the showdown today. Tomorrow they'll do it in Perth. The Western Derby, Fremantle taking on West Coast. Brisbane taking on the Bulldogs at the Gabba. And St Kilda facing Geelong at the Telstra Dome. With the attention here tonight at Amy Stadium for a wonderful showdown, 13. We always expected, gentlemen, it was going to be a tight finish, and Craig Bradley in the end, we weren't disappointed.
No, it was a great finish, and look, the Crows, they went far away, 2 goals, so they'd be disappointed, but plenty to work with there. Port Adelaide, well, they'd be wrapped.
Chris McDermott, thanks for your time as well. Port Adelaide's bogey continues over Adelaide Crows.
Too good tonight, that's for sure, Jace.
51,140 fans, an Amy Stadium record, saw Port Adelaide run out 12-point winners. Warren Treadray's won the West End medal, and it's good night from Amy Stadium.